Split.
Time for so
Time.
GG's for
Next
Team
runner.
Tonberry,
Let's go.
my friends.
GG
Soph.
Soph.
Final Fantasy.
Awesome run.
Time
One
for Team
Queen
Tonberry.
Soph for Tonberry.
Can we get some GG's in the chat?
GG's in chat for Soph, everybody.
GG's are going.
GG's.
Yes. Amazing run
Our
from
amazing
start,
runners, please
Odd
start
Cap.
to end.
chuck them a follow.
Yeah. Bodcap now on the final Ultimecia phase as well. Not
Both on
far
her
behind
heels.
at all.
Waves just took out
So,
Adele.
Mm-hmm. That was actually such a good run from Soph. It was so smooth.
There was. I don't think there was an error, like a single
No.
error I can think of.
No.
Like
No.
if there was like a
Not
sports
at all.
baseball game, there was like no errors. Like
I think, at the start there was a little fumble with the Quistis card, but that was,
That was
seven
felt
hours
across the
ago.
board, so
We've
kinda
already
negated
forgotten
itself.
about it.
Yeah.
Awesome Waves has the audio right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's that audio? All right.
I think Bodcap
Swap it
officially
over.
has caught up by like a minute
He
or
is.
so, minute and a half
Because
by the
This
end.
fight's about what, 2 minutes?
Yeah, 2 minutes. Yeah, the fight's
Yeah.
2 minutes. Soph had a 3-minute head start at the start, so by being about 2 minutes behind, Bodcap managed to claw back a minute. Bodcap also had a rough start a little bit, I think, with the cards, if I remember correctly. Maybe.
Can we
It's too long ago.
can we just talk about how Team Tonberry was
30 minutes behind.
30 minutes behind.
Man.
Yeah, yeah.
And the favorite, the winner of the most relays, Team Choco, is now
20 minutes behind, I think.
That's in no way to like put any flack in any direction of a team,
Mm-hmm.
but it's as
No.
to say like how quickly the tides
Things
can be
can
shifted in
change.
this relay. Because again,
Mhm.
it's not a race between 3 people. It is, but in the context of a relay, it's the dynamic of the runs, the players, it's even chat. You influence these runs too.
Yep.
So it's huge. It's a great
Bodcap
time. I
now
love these
on
relays.
to Bodcap's about to do his last couple of shots here on
Almost
on
time
LT.
for splitting.
Almost
And like
time
you
for the
said,
next
with-
splits.
With the times being so far apart, anything can happen. Come tomorrow, they could just be neck and neck again.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
curious to see if our runners did local timers. I would just love to see
Soph's was a
we got?
7:37 according to chat.
7:37. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing for a marathon kind of
Yeah,
environment.
that's solid.
For English as
solid
well.
time.
Alright,
Zell.
come on. And we got the Zell instead of the Quistis here. Here we go. That's what I thought.
And-
All right, one more Irvine for the finishing blow.
Pew.
Time.
Split for Mog.
GG's to
GG.
Bodcap.
GG Bodcap.
Amazing run from Bodcap.
Amazing
Was that
run.
that's like
Killing
a
it.
7:35 and some
Bodcap's
change.
run
Was it?
basically
Looking at his
nearly flawless.
on-
Bodcap started 3 minutes,
Yeah,
almost
behind.
3 or 4 minutes behind. So the fact that
Yeah.
it finished, it's got to be like a 7:35,
I took a
7:36.
quick peek before they switched the timers, and it was about 7:35 and like 20 seconds.
He closed the gap real quick there. Amazing work.
GG's Team Mog. Wow. Can we just give it up for these runners today? It's exceptional.
Give it up.
Team
For
Choco.
7.5 hours of this run is not an easy feat. So GG's
Soph
to
got
the
a-
runners today.
So got a 7:37.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it'll probably be a 34-ish. That's great.
Nice.
That might be the lowest time, actually, so far. English world
hi.
record. Yo, I
Time
think
for
we have.
Speedy Looks
Hi.
Irvine. Ooh.
I think we have fellow commentators here.
Yep. If we want to go ahead and open it up for World of Final Fantasy to go ahead and get started while we're finishing out our run here.
Yeah, if you guys want to maybe introduce yourselves.
Take it away whenever you're ready. We're just
So,
gonna be
hey,
sitting here cozy.
Sounds good. Yeah, welcome to World of Final Pokemon. I mean, wait, no, hold on. World of Jenga Fantasy. I mean, Chibi's a Final Fantasy. I mean, oh, right, it's World of Final the Fantasy. I'm MrTyton. I've got two other people commentating here. You want to introduce yourselves?
I am Steth427.
And I'm ChrisTenarium. Hello.
Oh boy.
Don't just say "oh boy" upon hearing my name. Like, you can...
I'm sorry, local man. I mean,
Watching space, Chris? I know you were watching.
Oh yeah, I specifically woke up in the middle of the night just so I could get my space watching in. I also woke up so I could see Prison as well. They were both very exciting.
To be fair, I think you're the only one here that's actually gotten sleep. So
I think that would be right. Yeah, I was going to complain in a channel earlier on that I had to wake up at 6:30, and I'm like, American coming into the FF8 overnight shift. I'm not going to say a word.
yeah, basically. So there's like maybe a 50-50 chance that any of our runners fall asleep during this run. So that doesn't happen. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, this is on 2 of the 3 screens now. We've got World of Final Fantasy, which, if you want to describe it with a very few words, it's basically Final Fantasy, but super meta, and is Pokemon mixed with Jenga, I think. That seem accurate?
Yeah, pretty much. It seems like Pokemon because you can go capture these mirages that you see in the overworld, and there's ice sliding puzzles, which normally everyone sees that bit and starts scratching the side of their head and like, wait, this is very Pokemon-y. But besides that, there's not a whole lot of other comparisons that you can then subsequently draw to Pokemon. Like the combat is. Yeah.
Combat's very different, yeah.
Yeah, the combat is very, very different. I also will say that Team Tonberry right now in the top right, you can see that they are watching a cutscene. It's the one of the only unskippable cutscenes in the game. It's also like 4 minutes long.
Yep. And you can't speed it up.
Can't speed it up. It's just going to play out in its entirety. It's great.
Yeah.
And it actually has, in my opinion, has a pretty catchy song.
Oh, dude, like, I just kept on humming this song afterwards. Like, it's caught in your head.
I think once upon a time, I probably didn't mind the song, but it's 6 minutes into a 3-hour run, and this game is decently reset heavy. So after a while, you just begin to resent it naturally.
Yeah, that's a reasonable point. That's a reasonable point. But yeah, so. A bit about just, how the game's going to operate. We've got 2 main characters here that we're going to be using throughout the whole run. They're twins, Ren and Lan. And one of the things, the reason we made like the chibi joke at the beginning is they actually all have 2 forms. Most of the time, for at least now, they're going to be in the large form here, but sometimes they're not. And the area that you can see right now that Crims is in is kind of like the home base that we're actually not going to be in a lot of the time. But, yeah. There's going to be a lot of traveling to a lot of different Final Fantasy worlds, some of which you'll recognize from other spots on the marathon. There's, you just saw all the lovely characters Final Fantasy VIII. We're going to be seeing them as well a bit later on.
Yeah, we will actually be seeing FF8 later on, despite there being so many areas that are homages to different Final Fantasies. If you look at Team Mock, this isn't an area from another Final Fantasy. This is an area unique to World of Final Fantasy. It's Wellspring Woods.
And pretty much the world of Grimoire is unique to World of Final Fantasy. That is pretty much the world where this all takes place. Series of continents that are actually separated vertically, so you will see us go pretty much take trains and ships and different types of transportation in order to get to the different areas of the continents. It actually is kind of interesting. We will be skipping through most of the cutscenes, but if you do play it casually, there are some unique aspects to the story and the difference in continents and how to get there.
Do the other Final Fantasy characters have chibi forms also?
Everybody's a chibi except for us.
Yeah.
Ah.
The Squall is a chibi, Quistis is a chibi. Everybody is.
Literally, yeah. The only two characters that aren't chibi are our two main characters. So this will probably be an okay place to describe a bit about the combat, even though it's over on one of the screens. So much like a lot of other Final Fantasy games, there's an ATB system. It's different in that the ATB isn't like a bar filling up for each individual character. Instead, there is that line on the left that the character's icons will rise up to the top, and when it gets to the top, that's when they can do an action. Basically, all of the runners are going to be using the wait style, so when a menu is open, it's just going to pause all the ATB charging, because that's the only way you can do the menus in time. And
when a character gets to the top of the list, their ATB pauses. It's on active where it doesn't. You'd have to be insane to do it on active.
Yeah, it's
so
just
some of the fights
possible.
later on get very, very, very fast, and oof.
Yeah, it would not work out at all. And this bar is being done by both your team and by however many enemies are present there. And one of the big unique things about this game is the stacking system. So we've got a couple of stacks set up right now, and the stacks are basically ways that you can fight alongside your Pokemon by literally stacking them up as though it's Jenga. The abilities will get merged, the stats of everybody all get merged, ATB charge sort of gets merged, and they act as one unit. This is not something that we're going to be using the entire time. You can intentionally unstack, and then you kind of just get more characters all fighting at once. But that's sort of the general gist of how the basics of the battle system works. It's actually a pretty fun one to do. There's a lot of strategy and stuff that you can do, kind of like a mini chess game.
Yeah, when you're stacked, your defenses are higher, you have higher resistances, higher HP, but when you're unstacked, everybody has less defense, but you get 3 separate turns, so...
And that can really matter later.
Yeah, definitely when we get to the item spamming portion of the run.
Yep. Yeah. So the other thing is sort of how are we going to capture more of the mirages, our knockoff Pokemon. So all of the different enemies, there's one that we're going to want right here, the Copper Gnome, have different capturing characteristics, and once they light up like that, then you can imprison them, and there's a chance that they get imprisoned or not, and if they're imprisoned, they join your team. They all have different ways that this will trigger. For the Copper Gnome, it's just dealing some damage. There's going to be another one that we need in this area, the Floating Eye, where it needs to be the last one that's available. And we're not actually going to be using a whole lot of these different ones, because that's really slow. We don't want to keep on capturing more and more things. We've got to just speed through everything that we can. But it does throw a nice little unique twist on things. So you have to figure out what each of the capture mechanics are, and then do that in the battle so that you can, actually get the thing and continue.
Yeah, normally you'd find out what their I think it's prison immunity, their catch chance in order to get. Normally you can throw out a Libra. We, however, know what it is in advance, so we can just do it. Also,
wait, we do?
We do know what it is. We cheat with speedrunners like that.
Oh my god!
There are a few mirages that you absolutely need because there are ultimately quote-unquote HM moves in this game, so you can't progress without certain mirages, so sometimes the runners will just get unlucky. They won't find, for example, a Floating Eye, which you need for Flutter. There isn't really much of a way around that other than just to run around in circles at the end of the area, hoping that the game gives you one. And unfortunately, they also put the Floating Eye in one encounter and no else, then it seems to be a little rarer. So we're just kind of hoping that the runners will be okay and that they'll find it quickly, and that nobody will pull a Rotomotor and lose 8 minutes running around in circles for a Black Knack. It'll be fine.
That kind of always sucks. This here is an example of some of the HM sort of things. There's going to be a few of these puzzles around where they basically say you need, X amount of weight and Y amount of resistance, stuff like that, in order to continue. So if you don't have a Copper Gnome by this point, which is kind of needed in order to trigger these puzzles, you kind of just have to keep on running around until you find one, and it's like really annoying to do that.
And breaking away from WAF somewhat, I have noticed that Waves for Team Choco is approaching Ultimecia. Do the FFA guys want to take over, have a bit of a chat about that?
Yeah, that'd be great. Just cap this off.
Just see this one more time.
The final 7 minutes.
The final banger.
Yeah, the final
The
couple of
extreme
bangers. And the man with... Come on. Yeah,
It's been quite the journey for Waves today.
Quite the journey for us, FFA.
Rough start.
For everybody,
Waves.
Yeah.
Gladly
finish
hand the
strong
torch
here.
to the WAF family after this. But let's close it out here with Waves tonight.
We're gonna get
Look at chat.
Irvine,
Come on,
Eiko, and
spam it.
Selfie.
Spam
Love
these
that.
saves.
Spam the saves,
Amazing.
chat. Let's go.
Amazing. Let's go
Awesome Waves.
Dang, he got
support.
Irvine. All right.
with the instant demo MO. And then we're gonna get an X ATM. Waves is gonna exact
Waves getting that
revenge.
run back.
Getting that run back from X ATM 092 right here.
Summon myself on XATM. Bum, 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 bum. The giant ray bomb coming.
What was Griever again? For
XATM 092.
Oh,
Yeah,
XATM. Oh, the revenge.
yeah.
Here it comes.
This is the revenge.
Here it comes.
XATM 2.0.
Okay,
Waves
it's only
wasn't
the
gonna
draw.
let him get away.
It's only the draw. It's fine. A bunch of
Yeah.
zombies. Oh, just the one zombie.
And that is little dummy magic there. Put into good
Which
use.
is why we put all that stuff in the
Mhm.
front and all our good stuff in the back, because he's going to do exactly that. It's a twofold. You don't want it to get blown away, and you want Groove to draw spells that are not going to suck against you.
Got
Okay,
the hero, the second hero, and then Waves is gonna go
Nice.
ham on the demo MO.
We're all
Really
set.
nice,
Yep.
really nice second phase here actually.
I can hear Janini smiling and laughing right now.
Very nice phase.
Yeah, really nice. Third phase. The GF's true power. Alchemist is gonna junction herself to XATM.
XATM 092, make them bleed.
Make them bleed. Shockwave Pulsar, aka what outer space in French,
Oh,
aka Ray Bomb 2.0. Make him bleed. Let's go.
and there we go. Sorry, Eiko, you're dead.
And it's over.
Oh, dang.
And it's over. But not before the next banger.
One more time. The
One
banger.
more time.
Another banger. Bangerception.
Wow.
Bum, bum.
Maybe I'm
No
at
one cares about
XATM.
Renoa. Correct.
Well, certainly Janini doesn't.
Janini is the yes. Janini loves Renoa. She tells you otherwise. Don't listen to her.
Not fire.
Well,
Hey, all I'm saying is they care about Renoa so little that they didn't even put her in World of Final Fantasy. What do you want from us?
You heard it here
Yo.
first, everyone. The Tonarium does not love Renoa, neither does WAF.
Look at
That's
Irvine
all she
go.
wrote.
Pop off, Irvine. Let's
Nice.
go.
Phase
And
3
we're onto the
complete.
Final,
Easy.
final phase of the LT fight.
Janini, #1 Renoa fangirl.
Let's go Waves for Team Choco.
Let's gore.
Where's Brofar?
go or
Let's effing oh.
Let's oh.
Isn't it like nighttime right now in Canada?
Yeah.
So he's
should be.
probably getting some shut eye.
Ah, come on. O's in the
who
chat.
needs sleep? Who
He's
needs
on my
sleep?
time. He's on my time zone. He's just like above me technically, so it's like 11:20. It's not too late.
O's
Oh
in the
yeah,
chat.
yeah, he's probably.
This absolute silence here. No music at all.
All
The build-up is
I
so
love
much
it. It's so
better.
The
good.
build up,
Yeah.
yeah.
Once she starts to
Total
pop
silence.
It throws me
It
off.
makes
'cause
sense. You can't
I'm
hear anything
waiting.
in space, so.
I expected to pop in and then it doesn't, so it's super awkward for me. But that's just me. And then it just like whoop. It's like
Yep,
the
here we
record starts
go.
playing. Drop the needle. Whoop.
Yeah, there's a little chorus of the Latin chanting at the start that we miss out on the PC version.
There are very few voice lines in this game.
Mhm.
6 if I remember.
Until you
use
get
total?
the Echo S mod.
up.
Yeah.
Ooh.
In the original there's like 6 and one whole channel is dedicated to these
God
voice lines in the back.
ATB. Almost.
Man.
Look at the ATB bar. It's like one frame away.
Big tease.
Come on.
This entire
There we
run
go.
for waves has just been FF8 trolling. Just trolling.
Oh, but we're finishing, man.
Go. We're
Doesn't
going.
matter. We're fucking.
Our
we're
blast in
ending this.
Irvine.
Let's get out of here.
Let's go.
And yep.
Final 5 hits.
Here we go.
Hold X to
Hold
win.
confirm
Take us
to
home,
win.
waves.
X to win, my friends. Let's go.
God, this song.
Oh, nice. Boom.
Will not wait.
Everybody just
Just
Oh,
vibing.
man.
na, na, na.
This second part right here, the counterpoint. So good.
Oh, the little baby.
Oh, baby. Okay, we're gonna get a Zell or a Quistis this time. We got one
Zell.
of each before.
Baby Zell.
Instant ATB, pause
Zell,
champ.
Zell.
Oh, it's the homie.
It's Zell. Zell out here.
so good.
Almost
Yes.
instant ATV.
Zell
We
with
got
the
it.
finish.
Zell for
Nice,
the
Zell.
finisher. Let's go,
Zell
Zell.
gonna
Finish.
Bop, bop.
Throw some hands, Zell.
Nice.
Throw some
Waves.
hands. Bop, bop.
GG's, waves,
GG's,
everyone.
Frog.
GG's in the chat for
GG's,
awesome
everybody.
waves.
GG's waves. So, podcast. And
GG's
we'll,
waves for sticking
awesome
it through
job,
on this
runners.
crazy run today.
yeah, for sure.
Amazing work,
I think
runners.
From the FF8 community to
Mhm.
everyone watching, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Appreciate all
much for
your
hanging out
time.
with us for the last seven and a half
Thanks
hours.
so much for having us.
As someone said,
our pleasure.
we were able to keep it fresh for 7.5 hours. It's my pleasure.
Yeah,
It's
you
my
guys were
pleasure to keep
amazing.
it fresh.
Absolute
And,
pleasure.
I await
be
this
here.
every year, and it is a great time, and I appreciate being here today. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, guys.
ditto from me to everybody here. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Before you go, can I just ask the FF8 runners? Did all of the commentators? Sorry. Did all of them get Cerberus skip?
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes,
Very,
yes. Oh,
very,
did they?
very
Oh,
swaggy
yeah.
Cerberus skips. You might
Yes.
want to watch Waves' Cerberus skip.
Waves is
in this
particular.
run.
Waves
particular.
had
is-
probably the best one.
Waves'
Very
skip
good.
was
Yeah.
one of the best ones I've
For
ever
sure.
seen in my life.
Well, enjoy WAF.
Enjoy
and,
WAF.
Good luck. Good luck,
enjoy-
Waff.
Yeah,
good luck
enjoy,
to
guys.
To have brain bugged and
And good luck.
Crimson and
Mhm.
commentary. Enjoy.
It was lovely to
Thank you.
commentate for all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you
Until
guys.
next year.
Bye.
See you guys later.
Peace.
Go Team Cactar.
So I just want to say that we've got two runners in the same area right now, basically on the same screen.
I guess we should head
Well,
straight.
So
technically, I
that's
think
pretty cool.
Crimson just became ahead because Hab got those optional Phoenix downs.
Yeah, but Crimson
yes,
doesn't have
but-
the knack yet.
Yeah,
Hab
Crimson
does.
hasn't found the knack,
Okay,
which is
cool.
why,
Yeah.
and I believe Harb has. Harb also on Team Tonberry had a very, very rough floating eye capture. The reason he went to grab those extra Phoenix Downs, I grab them whenever it's a marathon, but he had to grab them because he had to use a Phoenix Down on the encounter. So poorly did it go. One of the things floating eye can do to you is confuse you, and if then no enemy subsequently hits you last, or floating eye does it, it gets his turn last, you will end up hitting yourself. And I think Harb already went into the battle with lower HP. It was a little dicey, but he just about managed
really
to pull
bad. I mean, like Crimson got the perfect fight. Like he got the Copper Gnome and the Floating Eye before the first puzzle, and then Hob here like had to run away from the first Floating Eye, and then almost KO'd multiple times on the second one.
Yeah, that was really rough.
It was super rough.
Yeah,
but Hob did have a really good Ramu fight. Maybe I was mistaken, but I don't believe he had to heal himself.
No, he didn't.
Yep. After one.
All right, so
not
we're at one of the first like major bosses. This is also, I believe, the first split. The Bahamutian Commander and the Giant Goblin. The Giant Goblin's kind of the much scarier one here. But this is going to be the first instance of us, showing kind of how busted items are. Most of the fight's going to go pretty, what you would consider to be standard, where you're going to just keep on whacking them until they get to, either dead for the commander or half HP for the goblin. Once that happens, though, we just saw the Earth Hammer being used. The Earth Hammer does 1,500 damage, which is a lot more damage than, any of our attacks can do at this point in time. So it just managed to do a ton of damage. And that's going to be kind of a consistent theme throughout. The other thing that we're doing here is suiciding Lon, because that way the other stack gets all the experience, and we want the other stack to get all the experience. Ooh.
Huh? You found something.
Man, he's just really unlucky here.
Well, it's a good thing he picked up those extra Phoenix Downs, because he is needed to use even more.
Yeah. So the reason that we want the other stack.
Yeah, sorry.
Normally, all the experience.
Your attacks can miss. So I was just very concerned when I saw the attack there before, like, any potion. But it's fine. It worked out. There wasn't too much of a meltdown.
Just barely worked out. So that's one of the first instances of kind of like EXP planning that we do. Normally the EXP gets split among all the members because they're all alive, but since we want to hit some very specific levels coming up really soon, we want to make sure that all the experience goes to the Ren stack, which has the Chocobo check in it. So that's why we make sure that Lana is KO'd. We're also just going to be picking up this black Choco check, by throwing potions at it. Because we all know that's the best way to get people on your side, is to force feed them healing items.
Right. It's prismality is pretty much you have to heal it in order to do that. You can actually get Geishel greens, either at the shop that we actually skipped over earlier, or Choco chicks will randomly drop them. Those can also be used, but we pick up the 3 potion chest before entering the Nether Nebula. That's the area where we had the copper gnomes, and we'll use those 3 potions to heal up Choco Chick, Black Choco Chick, and capture it. And then
go
ahead.
No, I was gonna say, it seems like all of Hobbs' unluck with battles is extending now to Crimson's luck with finding the block knock.
Oh gosh.
So Hobbs' unlucky floating eye fight was pretty bad, but Crimson is having an absolute mare right now. A black knack just isn't showing up. It's like a little black wolf that you want to find, and still not it.
Still not it.
I think in this area, I think Crimson even said that it's 2 out of 7 is your percentage.
Really? It feels so much lower than that.
Exactly, it feels more like 10%, if anything, not like 28%. But the in the area we had a force goblin army fight. In that area, I guess he said it's 2 out of 5. and that's obviously hindsight 2020, but it kind of would have made sense to kind of force an encounter before that or in that area.
I think he was running down. No, okay, he's just taking a slightly different path.
Crimson did force an extra encounter just before the transition to get the extra 2 and 5, and still didn't find anything in the 2 encounters he got.
Always hate it when you see the chains because it's like, nope, that's not it. So actually, this is probably a good point to talk a little more about like the speed tech that we use in battles. There's actually 3 different things that we do in order to make the battles go faster. The first one is sort of built into the game. There's a turbo mode that just makes everything go a lot faster. It's what you see with the fast forward icon on the top right. The second is there's an auto battle feature, which will just have the characters repeat whichever action they did last, which is a lot faster than you mashing the confirm button. So once you have everyone set up, if that's what the rest of the fight is, you just let it go and have at it. It's especially useful for escaping at this point, because you just set them on to escape and it just keeps on spamming until it goes. The third one,
just touching on like the escape thing, Hub did a menu on Choco Chick beforehand that grants you flee. So the stack that has Choco Chick in it can now guaranteed flee from every encounter, so you'll never see it take more than twice. Sometimes Lan may outspeed, but that won't matter. Also something to touch upon, Hub Team Tonberry in the top right now is looking for a cockatrice. Once he's found the cockatrice, we don't need to find any more mirages for the rest of the run. That's capture RNG done with?
Done. Yep.
I'm hoping he finds one because I know he hasn't yet. Crimson is still looking for a black knack. This is what I affectionately refer to as being rotomoted. The last time it happened in the relay, rotomotor the runner was stuck for 8 minutes looking for a black knack, and
I think it's been more than 8 minutes by this point.
I think Crimson is probably, if he hasn't approached 8 minutes, we're definitely getting close.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, there we go!
Finally.
Nice.
Now imagine how awful it would be if you accidentally KO'd them, which is something that I've done before.
Yeah.
There are 3.
There we go.
Yeah, you played
There are 3. You can't KO all of them. When there's one, you can potentially double smash, and if one of your double smash awkwardly crits, then it's a bit weird. Harp has now found his cockatrice. However, the cockatrice is stacked, so he needs to use Ram to topple it first, then unstack and hit cockatrice twice, and he'll have caught it. So, good job, Harp. Other than that one very, very dicey fight.
Something about it takes me back.
Yeah, it's going pretty well so far there.
Yep, he has found all of his mirages as and when is needed. I was actually speaking to CrimsonInferno about this very scenario showing up of being unlucky in terms of encounters, because he's been grinding recently for World Record. He had World Record and then beat it a few times.
Beat it again like last Thursday or something.
Yeah, and he was concerned about this very scenario happened of just his luck running out and him not being able to find it. Unfortunately, this happened. We see now in the top right for Hub, we've approached Yuna, someone you'll know. However, this is an unwinnable battle, so in order to speed it up, we go to chibi mode with both of our characters, so they have less HP to chip through.
I always love it. Yuna's like, wow, I've never seen anybody use mirages like you did there, and we don't even have any mirages in that fight, and we just instantly lose.
Yeah.
Wait, our mirage use is really impressive there.
All the champion battles are forced losses, I believe. We can get into the champions and how they're part of Grimoire later on. But I did want to point out earlier when you mentioned flee, the reason why we KO the lawn stack is to get Choco Chick to level 8. When you transfigure or evolve, quote unquote, Choco Chick to Black Choco Chick, that gives them enough SP points in order to get flee available. If not, then obviously you have to force another battle, or in your cockatrice fight, you're gonna have to get enough experience to get flee there. I've tried to run up to Seronio docks without Flea, and
Oh, that's so bad.
It's not fun when you're pretty much ambushed and you die. So Flea is very, very, very needed in this game as early as possible.
Yep,
Yeah.
and something else that's also flying under the radar, something else you'll also get during that menu is unstacked haste. So every time you unstack, the Black Choco Chick will have haste. And Choco Chick is just... one of the main reasons we get it is just really, 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 really fast. It's
fast exactly?
really fast. It's just... Olympic sprinter fast. It's like you'll really get to see it like in the mid game as soon as we start unstacking and doing all of that. But compared to the other characters, it is bonkers fast. It's wonderful to have in the speed.
This dungeon is
Yeah,
way more dungeon
100%.
Did you know that originally
So also, I do want to say, while we aren't capturing any more mirages, we are going to be acquiring some more later. They just kind of happen.
There are a few mirages that come up naturally. We'll see mostly when we're there. A few are handed to us. The Lords later on, Searcher from prison, Magitech Armor from prison. Some will even use. Some will pretty much immediately be bolted to our Prism case, which I'll translate it for Pokemon terms. It's the box in your PC. They'll get thrown in there immediately, and you'll never see them again. But
I kind of wanted to start like doing everything in terms of Pokemon. Yeah, so we have Ash and Misty as our two main characters here.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah. So the last thing
is Professor Oak. If Professor Oak created the world, but yeah.
So for the last thing, Crimson, do you want to go over the speed up glitch? Not Crimson. Why did I say Crimson? Chris.
Okay, cool. I was wondering if you meant that. I will touch on it a little bit beforehand. Hub in the top right, Team Tonberry just went to the shop and bought 15 electro marbles and 5 bomb fragments. A lot of this run until the mid to late game is throwing items, because items can just do so much more damage than anything we have access to. That was touched upon in the Earth Hammer later on, where our attacks were doing like 100, 150, and then you throw out an Earth Hammer and it does 1500 damage. Electro Marbles are tier 1 items as opposed to the tier 2 that is Earth Hammer, so it'll do 750. But we will see come Grand Fenrir, which is the boss of the fire at the end of this ice place, just how much that does.
Also, this will be the Pokemon ice sliding puzzles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also very glad that Crimson has found the same encounter that Harb did, and all he had to do was unstack the Cockatrice, topple it, and is able to imprison. So no more terrible luck for Crimson.
Brain had to grind a bit for the Copper Gnome, running around a bit for the puzzle.
Yeah, has he found a floating eye yet?
I don't think so, no.
Oh boy, okay. Well, let's all hope that he finds one. I believe in him. Right, so touching on the speed up glitch, I can't remember the name we always fall upon when talking about it, but I think it's somewhat jokingly referred to as the Crest glitch. CHR3S. That is peculiarly spelt, but there is a reason for that. For the longest time, there are certain games that ran much, much faster when using speed up than it did for others, and there were only certain runners that had it and certain runners that didn't, and there just weren't enough runners that we knew why this was a thing. There were one day I was speaking to a buddy of mine, and I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to try and figure this out, whether it's a PC thing, whether it's a thing with the game. And then Sarah had an idea. Well, I wonder if it's 2 instances of speed up going at the same time. Brainbugs in the bottom left, just going to point out, did get his floating eye. Thank Lord for that.
Yep.
So I do some testing. I'm lazy at the time. I don't want to mash, so I'm using an auto fire, a turbo, and I bind that to R3. What that will do, it will just mash confirm for me, so I don't have to bother. When you're a speedrunner for so many years,
right?
This kind of thing just comes up naturally.
Right?
Yeah, but it turns out when I was pressing R3, the game would go fast, and then it would go slow when used in battle. Turns out what was happening, it is 2 instances of speed up running at the same time. It's just one is bound on R1, and that is presumably intended, and there's one on R3 that isn't shown as a bind anywhere. And I can only assume not deliberately intended, and it was like left in as some kind of tool or something. But ever since then, we now jokingly refer to it as the Crest CHR3S technique. But yeah, it's just an instance of double speed up. The longest time, if you didn't have it, you just lost 20 minutes, and that's the only thing you can do about it.
Yep. But now everybody has it going basically all the time. It's like a toggle for the entire game too. You like do it once and you don't have to redo it again.
Yeah, generally with R1 we'll hold it in battle, and some other points as well. The R3 one is just always there. It's always a thing.
Yep.
I think
also,
So I think that
item.
Sorry, go.
No, Hob just picked up an optional item there. I think there's a chance you can get a Frigicite, an Ether, and a solid Frigicite in that area. In this dungeon, technically, there's a little ice areas where you can find random items, or your Choco Chick can find items for you with one of its abilities. So I would just kind of I've never seen anyone really do that in a marathon setting. Pick up an optional item like that. I just know
Probably
that
just for safety.
True.
no, I pick it up. It'd be the first I hear of it giving you a Frigicite, but basically it gives you an extra Ether. It's just a little bit more money. That's all you really pick it up for, and it's like half a second to pick it up because the Mirage is probably going to find it anyway.
Yeah. I believe if it is that the area that I've done it before, I've gotten a solid Frigicite and a Frigicite from it. And I've actually used the solid Frigicite to defeat a Mimic in Ceronium Docks. There's a lot of what ifs, in terms of any kind of speedrunning game.
Yeah. And here we see Hob doing the same sort of thing that we did before. This time we're making sure that Ren stack has been eliminated before finishing the fight off, so that we can get. This time we want the experience to be on the. Why am I blanking on the name? The little wolf, the Black Knack.
Yeah.
Yes. Tiny wolf that isn't the ice one.
Yeah, because the Black Knack will eventually grow into a mighty wolf that is Grand Fenrir that we just defeated, which is where we get the prism from. There is an encounter that Hob get. If you get unlucky, that's an ambush, and if you're at low HP totals, there is a very small chance that you can die there, and the only real backup for it is just go all the way through Icicle Ridge again. It's one of those things that is so rare you don't really play around, but I think a lot of experienced runners have either gotten close or experienced it once. It sucks.
Yeah.
Refia is the character, callback character from Final Fantasy III. And her ability, while she's with the team, can heal after some random battles, if needed.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. So there is a forced, heal as you escape. I've gotten it before after an encounter actually. So I guess if she heals you before you have the screen transition, you won't get it as you exit. But pretty much she's supposed to heal your team a bit after a few. I want to say after 3 or 4 battles. But we don't really get into that many battles, so she'll normally heal you as you exit the dungeon, which is pretty nice, even though there's no encounters there. So kind of a waste.
Also, sorry,
it's kind of nice
quick,
casually, but it's completely useless, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Go on, Tyne.
Yeah, so this is the really good instance of showing the unstack case and unstacking to just be able to throw more things. If you look at Hob's screen, we're fighting the Black Knight, or the Federation Guard right now, Black Knight. and we're just throwing electric marbles at it. And the fact that we get to do 5 of them, and that some of our characters have this unstacked haste, means that we just get to do it before he really gets the second attack off.
Yeah, and to show off just how fast Black Choco Chick is there, Black Choco Chick went last. It had the slowest ATB, it went after everyone, and then immediately got a turn straight after again. So whilst everybody's ATB was loading, Choco Chick just flew past all of them in its Olympic sprinter mode and got another turn before anybody else did. It's so wonderfully, wonderfully fast in the MVP of the speedrun, especially in some fights we'll see later on. It's an absolute beast.
Yeah, it's really looking forward to being able to participate in the Choco GP.
Yeah.
I feel like this run should have been like towards the very end of it, so that we can quiz everybody on like, hey, do you remember where this character is from? You saw it before.
We should do that for Final Fantasy IX, definitely.
Yeah.
Brainbug just got knock encounter. He forced it before the screen transition area.
Nice.
And got it. So that's big props to them getting that and possibly saving time.
Very nice. So oh wait, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, right. So we never actually talked about the Mirage board. Sort of, it's like that thing that you didn't really see in the Final Fantasy X run.
Yeah. Yeah, it's for all intents and purposes a sphere grid, but however, you don't learn stats from it, you learn abilities.
There are some stats.
There are some stats, but they're more of just like an agility, plus. Yeah. You're not going to learn all of, like, there's not strength, magic defense, agility, and the stats weight or something. Like on there. There'll be some Mirages that will they're fast, so they'll have like even more agility you could get, but you're not about to get strength and magic on Black Choco Chick.
Yeah. And so we're doing like a lot of leveling up here. One of the biggest ones that we are going to be doing is essentially transforming and then evolving the Black Knack into the Grand Fenrir so that we can then ride on it. Because it turns out that when you ride on the large, very, very fast Mirages, you just tend to run a lot faster. Let's Go kind of stole that idea from us. We had it first.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, you can see Hub was menuing and adding Magic Plus, and as well as Flutter to the Floating Eye, as well as Enhanced Thunder Magic and Thunder from the Zapped, which is the little VV or Black Mage looking thing that we got from Ramuh. That's kind of another reason why we fight Ramuh in the Nether Nebula. So pretty much going along with the magic, and just enhancing each sphere grid for each Mirage's, ability. The goal for this is to have the rain stack to have at least either 86 or 88 magic. That'll do enough damage with using the Thunder spell against this boss. So that way, Rain and Long can both. Yeah, Rain and Long can both, defeat the pretty much the boss within 3 turns. Which you'll see. So if not, you can either force an encounter and try to do something, but we buy items specifically in specific amounts in order to save as much gil, be efficient as possible. So any little mishap or anything like that, there's no way to really recover it as of right now.
Also, I do want to point 2 things. One is Hob named one of his stack Tonberry Star, so throwing that team spirit. The second is, don't you guys all, transport across the docks by firing yourselves out of cannons?
Yeah, I used to live very near a port when I used to live in the south of Spain, and very dangerous form of transport. No matter where you wanted to get to in a port, they wouldn't let you on unless you fired yourself out of a cannon to the other side. Nightmare. True nightmare.
In the US, we need to actually have our circus certificate in order to get this ability to transport between port and port. But it is available in Clown College.
Yeah, they don't let you into ports in America without your clown makeup. Yeah, I've heard about this.
So now here's the other thing, is that we only fired Ren across. How did Lon just like teleport with us?
Oh, he went afterwards. It's just not shown on camera, obviously.
Obviously.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of explanation for in this game, lore wise, is and a crow, and a crow's the answer. That's why, or it's not that important, or it's not that important to really talk about right now. As the story gets deeper and deeper, but yeah, a lot of, like, you know, when we did the sizzle ability in the Icicle Ridge area, Tama talks about how Inna Crow leaves these things actually physically there. So, you know, we as the player, you know, in the omnipotent view looking down, are actually seeing what Lon and Rain would be seeing in a second, you know, person view of it. So, or first person view of it. Which is kind of funny, actually, thinking. And there's actually a couple callbacks of breaking the fourth wall. That the
This game breaks the fourth wall so much.
That it actually does. It's a very, very cheeky game, and to me, I like it a lot. I started, you know, just speed running it, and then started playing casually. But overall, I mean, it's got a lot of, you know, really dry and some honked up dad jokes, but overall, I mean, it does have some facepalm moments, but it also has some cute moments and just like kind of fun, good old parts. And to me, it's a good callback to earlier games as well.
So one of the things that, like, building off what you said, one of the things that I just like love about this game is it kind of is this like really cute love letter to Final Fantasy as a whole. There's I mean, aside from the fact that, like, you know, it is using characters from all the Final Fantasies, there's so many other just like small references. It's extremely meta in the sense that, you know, there will be some fourth wall breaks, and the overall plot of the game has to do with it, you know, being meta in themselves. They are more kind of writing their own story. There's also other references sort of built into things. Like, there's a vampire that you can imprison. And if I recall correctly, the like Pokedex description of the vampire is that it sparkles in the sunlight, but we can't say more, otherwise our lawyers will get us.
I personally love the one from Velfor.
What's Velfor say? I gotta look this up.
Yeah,
Velfor.
Yeah, Velfor came up last time. I don't remember what it was either. I think Woody brought it up.
Alright, hold on, I'm loading the wiki page.
Whilst you're loading up the wiki page, we can see that in the bottom left, Brainbugged has found his cockatrice, so I don't think Brainbugged has had terrible RNG. However, in the top right, something we've managed not to touch upon so far, we just gave an item to a Gimme Golem. It blocks your path, and it won't let you through until you find an item, which is always hidden in a chest somewhere through the level. So there are some levels like Serenia Docks where you have to go back and forth a little bit, raising the water to go over bridges to get certain chests so you can get it. It's in a few areas of the game, but it's not in every area. It's like scarce enough.
Alright, here we go. Yuna's faithful, spelled with a Y, friend and companion, so to speak. She soars through the air, wild and free. Raise your hand if you're feeling a wave of nostalgia right now. Hey, speaking of nostalgia, did you know Final Fantasy X has been remastered in high def?
Talking about it only makes it worse.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember that now.
I guess this is wearing me down.
Yeah. There is actually also another bit of speed tech that we keep on going past, which is one of the few sort of speed techs built into this. So, you know, we've been skipping all the cutscenes through the normal things that you would tend to skip by, you know, hitting buttons in a menu. But there is overall dialogue. And for some of the overall dialogue, you can't progress on to the next, like, forced cutscene or transition or whatever until the characters have finished doing all their talking. But it's synced to voice lines. I mean, the voice actors are great, but also, like, they just keep on talking and talking and talking, and it's so slow. We don't want to deal with that. We're speedrunners, we gotta go fast. turns out if you just like open the menu and close it, it will skip past the rest of the voice line. So if you see the characters like what Hab's doing right now, just keep on opening and closing and opening and closing and opening the closing the menu. It's because every time that this happens, it's skipping past another line of dialogue, and this just is so much faster. This cutscene goes from like a minute 25 down to like 42 seconds or so, just by constantly skipping all the voice lines like this.
Yeah, you save about 30 seconds. This is the biggest example of this saving time. You do use it a few times throughout the run, but it saves having to wait, 5 or 10 seconds on a certain screen. That screen there, you can't go anywhere, you can't run anywhere, you're just on a boat going forward. So, yeah, you save about 30, 35 seconds there, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just doing
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we're just doing a bit more stack manipulation here. Hobbs really managed to pull quite far ahead.
Yeah, definitely made up the time. This
Yeah,
area.
but also that being said, Brain Bugs is really close to Crimson right now.
Oh wow.
They're like 30 seconds apart from each other or something.
Yes, Crimson got very, very, very unlucky with Black Knack.
We're seeing,
I think he even died to Grand Fenrir.
Wait, did he?
Sorry?
Did we just miss that?
I think so. I saw him in Ice Cavern already, and then suddenly he was back at Big Goblin.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, that's not something that usually ever happens.
Oh, I saw him on Big Goblin, but I had assumed I had just misseen something, and that was...
I wasn't paying that much attention because I was explaining the other speed tech.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's really bad. It is super, I didn't emphasize, it is super unlucky to die to Grand Fenrir. It, like, basically does not happen.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
That would need a lot of icicle storms, I didn't think you had to go back to Big Goblin, though, because if you die,
that was
you
the
can
last
just
save.
go... No, but it's not a game over. You just get teleported back to Ninewood Hills, and then you can be on your merry way again.
Not in a boss fight. Not in a boss fight.
No, not in a boss fight.
Oh, damn.
Threshold, I guess that's the...
Not in the boss fight, and not in the prison area either. You just game over. Oh, somebody clipped it. Nope, that's a different thing. Never mind.
No, he didn't. What happened?
I'm gonna check the VOD. Give me a sec.
Yeah. I'm trying to look for it now.
But I wanted to mention out before. I guess Hob just got an encounter. Those this little maze area, in order to get from A to B, pretty much get to the Dragon Scar area. There is a straight line you can follow. It's kind of an upright kind of line that will get you past and time it to where you will not get any encounter. You can run away from them, as you can see. And in the cutscene prior that we skipped over, in that you saw Rain and Lon were face down. The reason why was because we took this that ship that we got from Quistis. And actually went down a waterfall into the new continent. So that's one of the things I was mentioning before. That pretty much the continents are separated vertically. So sometimes you'll have to actually go down a waterfall in order to get to the next continent.
So I've seen what's happened. He suicided the wrong character.
Oh.
You're supposed to kill off Rain, but he killed off Lon. And then ended the fight, and then immediately realized what had gone wrong and had to reload the save.
Wow, that's an uncharacteristic mistake there.
Yeah, I maybe just me being a bit novice with the run or whatnot, but I feel that it may just be better just to at least try, just go ahead and go forward and go to.
No, it's a lot of experience.
It's a lot of experience, and you're also missing out on all of the mirages that are then supposed to evolve, for lack of a better term, into the other one.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking of, all right, well, I guess I could just waste money and buy more electrical marbles and fight stuff in Seronio docks in order to
I
do
think you
it.
have the money to buy like the additional marbles that you would. Like if you're like a level short on one of them, I think it's fine.
I wouldn't buy the fish scales. I would just pick them up in
But it's the levels that are important.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking.
All right. Well, this really just became a lot closer now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Everything shuffled around a little.
Time is very competitive, you know, and so this kind of levels it all up, and now it's everyone versus Hob.
Yeah, I mean, I would still expect Crimson to like tear through the rest of the game and still make up like at least a bit of time as it goes on. Also, something we need to touch upon: the shop in North Promenade. The vendor is Choco and she now sells tier 2 throwable items. So Hub went back for some of those. Suddenly our items aren't going to be doing 750 damage, they're going to be doing 1,500 damage or 3,000 if you're weak to them. Depending
if you don't know who Chocolina if you don't know who Chocolina is, go play 13-2.
Yes.
We've also got another. Would you call this one a glitch?
So I have ran this for no glitches allowed, and I did it.
Okay.
Because it's something is a glitch depending on if your community defines it as a glitch. And back then it was just Kawaii and I, and we both decided that it wasn't a glitch. It is an intended misuse of iframes, because you're supposed to be able to escape. And if you can't do, we're about to run up to Cerberus here for Team Tonberry. You're supposed to be able to run away, because otherwise the fight would immediately reactivate. However, instead of running away and deciding that we can't do it, we decide to run through Cerberus and get the chest in the back. There is a Gimme Golem blocking off the boss area. And we need to give it the item that we just picked out of the chest, so we pick it up. And then run straight back out the other side. Yeah, what's collision anyways couldn't be me.
The first time that I was doing that, I couldn't like find the chest, so I had 5 encounters. also, yeah, Maelstrom is correct. So 13-2 is where you get introduced to Chocolina, but 13 and Lightning Returns is where you get the context of who Chocolina is. And yeah, we're gonna see one of those games in the marathon later.
Have you guys ever failed to flee versus Cerberus before?
Is that I don't? So
it's not possible
because attack off.
It's not possible because Choco Chick has flee, so you escape immediately. I mean, you could have got unlucky, maybe, and then get out sped, and on low health one of your characters dies. But I mean, you would probably notice 3 of your characters lying around on the floor dead.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's happened to me once. It might have been a missed menu, but I know it's happened to me once.
It was probably missed menu. Like, Cerberus can get an attack off before you flee, but I don't think that you should be able to wipe unless, like, somehow the attack kills the Choco Chick stack, which would be really unfortunate.
Right now.
Yeah. So we've got this Mirage Dragon, and this one's actually like kind of scary because depending on how fast the ATB fills up, the Mirage Dragon can get a second attack off, and that second attack will KO one of your characters. And if you looked really closely there, it was really, really close to the Mirage Dragon like being the next attack there. Like
so it will always be really, really close. You do have to get pretty unlucky, but unfortunately, if that second attack does go off, it's Flare Star. Now, Flare Star will almost certainly kill one of your party members, but there should be the other one at full HP, so you should survive.
Yeah. It's just, very awkward if they get the attack off.
And over on Team Mog, you see
what happened to this place?
The Thane or the Federation Guard attacked Black Knock. It's pretty unlucky, but if Black Knot got attacked twice, it would have died, and that Mirage needs to survive that battle in order to have the right amount of experience, in order to have enough SP to get the Joyride
Evolve.
command from when you evolve Fenrir. So it got a little close there with 62 health there.
Oh my god! It crit the stack.
Oh, it crit! That we were talking about this very scenario.
Does he have any Phoenix Downs?
It's the crit. That is.
He's got a Mega Phoenix.
He has a Mega Phoenix, but it's 2,500 gil.
That's so unlucky.
I used it. Oh man. Well,
if it's ever going to happen, it's going to happen in a marathon setting. That is.
Oh, look! How many chapters are there in this game? Yeah, something like that. Low 20s. The chapters.
There's 21 and a postscript.
Yeah, 21 and a postscript. The chapters are all not of the same length. So yeah, but in general, they're sectioned off by like what you're doing, kind of similar to 13.
Right.
That aspect.
Wow. So that 2,500 gil is gonna have to be made up, or
somehow. I mean, there's like some extra chests I picked up, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You could pick up the fish scales and then just buy one extra on top of that instead of buying 6.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to suggest. You can go grab the fish scales instead. And we already bought the electro marbles, so you can't just thunder marble your way through that. But potentially, instead of you can buy a few less electro marbles and thunder down the first encounter before the sharks. Worst case scenario as well. There are ways around this. It's just pretty tragic and pretty unlucky.
The story of running this game, everything is pretty tragic and pretty unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, there's pretty tragic and pretty unlucky in getting your stack crit and dying.
The whole story is pretty tragic and pretty unlucky.
Well, it's just another way that it's similar to the Pokemon speedrunning, right? Only there's no RNG manipulation.
That's true.
So up in the top right, we see Hob using a teleport stone. There's gonna be a few of them we pick up. They basically just bring you back to the beginning of where the dungeon is. In this case, because
and you reuse it.
I thought it was is it not single use?
I want to say it's a reusable item.
What, the teleport stone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The teleport stone's a reusable item. You get it after Yuna.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, okay. For the reason I thought it was single use. Anyway, so we have the teleport stone, and it brings us back to the beginning. It's faster to teleport back to the beginning of the dungeon than it is to run all the way back, and, a large amount of what we're doing throughout most of these sections are just like giant puzzles. Like mazes that you gotta go find the item that's stopping the blocking, the giant block, gimmies.
The Gimme Golem, yeah.
Gimme Golems, yeah. I have nicknames for everything because that's the kind of game that this is what makes you want to give nicknames. So I don't remember the actual name for like practically anything.
Also on Hop Screen, we went through a tutorial about the smash command. We do it there because it's the fastest, most efficient tutorial of that ability.
Yeah, because we don't have a character with smash right now.
Yep.
Otherwise, it would like do the smash animation.
It's to stop the tutorial showing up later on in Train Graveyard, because there is a smash tutorial there. But then there's the conversation about the fangs that chew, so you have to wait for that conversation to end, and then Smash will go off, and it's like 10-15 seconds of time loss of just like staring and waiting for the conversation to end so you can use a Smash. It's actually like I'm not sure if I call it speed tech, but that's why we brought the tutorials, to save that time later
it's
on.
Planning. It's planning. It's part of our just like cheating abilities, really. We know it'll happen, so we just use our future knowledge to make sure that it doesn't.
Hey, I asked a question in the Discord about, hey, we have enough experience to transfigure the copper gnome to a mithril golem. Why don't we do that? At Sorority Dock menu, and the Crimson has had a good point saying, you could, but when you have the smash command, you're going to lose time there. So is the time really worth it? Spend two, let's say 5 seconds transfiguring and menuing to get the smash command versus, like Chris said, losing 15 seconds. Not worth it.
So
seconds add up.
So real quick, this is one of the safety saves that our runners are doing. The last attack that the King Bomb will do is going to be a self-destruct that will KO both your party members if either of them isn't defending. One of them automatically cannot defend because it's the one that has to actually deal a finishing blow. So if you just kind of get really unlucky there and you just like mess up, you can just swipe, and that's not something that you want to do.
I think you have to I think the only way you can die there is via a misplay, because the King Bomb will only ever get one attack off.
Yeah,
so...
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you misplay, but it's something that's like, I don't think it's necessarily that difficult to accidentally misplay it. So, the safety save to beat for a marathon, everything else.
So we see in the top right team Tonberry, they've just caught a lucky frog. You can just throw an earth hammer at it and immediately imprisonable. That's the last we're going to see of the lucky frog. I think at least beforehand we gridded its shell mirror jewel, but nowadays we don't even do that, and now we go into the windswept mire.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, this area is actually kind of evil. There are random encounters that can show up if you're too close to one side. So Harb's stuck to the right side, and he'll stick to the left side over this bridge, and over this one as well. That is deliberate. Like, he's not like randomly got his analog stick at completely the wrong angle. There will be flans that show up if he doesn't, and you can either take a death and use more, or use more lightning marbles if you get caught by them. But it's very, very unpleasant. You absolutely don't want to. Hub now being in the mid game of World of Final Fantasy, the game is very consistent for a while. Nothing can really kill you. You have too much HP. All of your items are very overpowered. As you can see, 2,343 damage compared to the frankly, I don't know, couple hundred damage we'd be doing if we just used magic instead.
Right.
But Chris, if we use the items now, we might not be able to use it later.
That is true. Well, definitely when I was younger, I fell into the trap of, well, I don't want to use this item now. Now I've gotten into speedrunning. Every single time I get a useful item, I'm like, yeah, I'm using this. But what if you need it later? Well, I mean, we'll find out if I need it later, won't we?
Right?
Oh, I still have a reporting mentality when I'm playing casually. Yeah. We've also had snow here from Final Fantasy 13 for a bit, but, then we said goodbye. We just kind of used them to get across the bridges.
Yeah, and Snow and Shiva were making the ice bridges for us.
One really cool thing, or I guess a little tech thing with this game, for that Flan fight was when it's on very low health, like critical health, the speed will slow down. So that's why in that fight we can outspeed them on the last turn. Just kind of a nice little cool tech that actually will help us in future battles as well. To outspeed our opponent, do enough damage to outspeed them to finish them off, and go from there.
So here's the question: which Final Fantasy game is this one from? Like the sand area?
The Phantom Sands?
Yeah.
I think it's a call to the Phantom Forest, or the forest from
8. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because it's the same sort of like maze where everything looks the same, but you got to take the different paths. Yeah. But I wasn't sure if there was something else. I was like, yeah, we're in a desert and doing this.
I think it's just more of a transition into a desert region, for the story.
Sure.
And then wanted to have a callback to what dungeon tech or whatnot.
Yeah, so the gimmick for this place is fairly simple, as it is with a lot of these places. You just follow the sun. That's all you do. You Dark Souls to it up. You praise the
Wait,
sun.
really?
Run towards it. Yeah,
How did I
that's
never
what you're
notice
doing.
that before?
You're running towards the sun. Otherwise, you just end up in the previous area you came through.
Yeah, me too.
Now,
Man, you know, you'd think I would know this by now.
one thing is with the lucky frog, when we menu it, we get, I believe we still get it's the resist confusion mirror mirage jewel or mirror jewel mirage jewel. It's the shells from the copper gnome, or from the copper gnome, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of things that I'm like, oh, hey, I'm learning the speed run. Let's, let me figure out why we do this. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And obviously, 99% of the time, the reason why we do it is because it costs more time to do it.
Wait, you're saying that the speedrun route is set up in such a way that it takes the least amount of time to get through the game?
You would, as of right now, I would say so. Yes,
Wow, that is shocking information.
I mean, you think about it, a 5 to 6 year old game, there's not much improvements you can make to it, but you got 20, 30-year-old games that they're constantly making improvements on, So, an ode to the FF9 router, or sorry, the FF routers in general.
Remind you of anything?
Yeah. Honestly, like, if you want to play the game casually, it's a really fantastic game, especially if you like multiple Final Fantasies. And if you want to learn how to speedrun the game, it's a relatively easy speedrun to learn. And I highly encourage you all to, give it a try, because the game is a lot of fun, both casually and speedrun's also not bad.
Right. I mean, coming from and if you're gonna be speedrunning any longer game, I mean, having a 3.5 hour run in your back pocket is nice, very nice for time efficiency.
Yeah, as someone who runs a lot of longer Final Fantasies, having a short one you can occasionally fall back on is very nice. Up until the late game, this game is also, as Titan touched upon, fairly simple. The late game, there's a lot going on all of a sudden, and a lot of things you have to be wary about, because it has the old Final Fantasy difficulty spike of suddenly, oh hey, these things suddenly have a lot more HP and hit for 5 times as hard as they used to, so you have to suddenly start looking out. This prison section is actually kind of unique. Do one of you want to go into that?
Well, we've lost all mirages, and if you run into anything, you die.
Why don't we look for a town?
Yeah, the story behind it is pretty much up until this point, pretty much the people around Grimoire are realizing, hey, the giants from the hills, which is the ode to Ninewood Hills, is here in Grimoire. Part of
they're talking about us. We are the giants from the hills.
It's part of a whole general prophecy of how they can either save the world or destroy the world. So, long story short, they get captured by Edgar, who's from Final Fantasy VI, and sent into this desert prison. And now they have to escape, and we will learn soon enough, as pretty much previously, a minute or so ago, we met Squall for Final Fantasy VIII. So this is all desert prison for Final Fantasy VIII, and in doing that, pretty much we were put here purposely from Edgar, who's part of the League of S. The League of S is are the good guys. The bad guys is the Bahamutian or Bahamut Federation. So pretty much Edgar put us here for a reason, so we can get into this Mako reactor, and we will pretty much start up the Mako reactor in order to produce so much power that the Figaro castle can actually break free of its chains that we saw before in other areas, like Saronia is controlled by the Bahamut Federation by having these chains attached to them. They're kind of invisible. In Saronia, we're actually given goggles so we can see them. So that's why when we go to the City of the Ancients, or the Library of the Ancients, we can actually see the chain going into the city. So pretty much they're all controlled by the Federation. We're going here to try to, pretty much break Figaro free, and we'll see if we do that, and we'll see who we meet along the way.
And during this whole section, we're kind of doing the Metal Gear Solid thing. If we're caught by any of these patrolling searchers, we will die. So we need to not be caught by any of them. It's
pretty much. And they have a field of blue, like a laser in front of them. But that's actually very misleading, because they can see much, much, much further than their laser suggests they can. I think a lot of new runners have been caught out with that. It's just like, oh, it's fine. Well, I can just stay out of their blue laser and it'll be fine. It's not fine. You need to be miles away. Like, you can see just how safe he's playing this. Like, they really can see you from a while away. It's pretty brutal. Luckily, there are these very conveniently placed bins that you can just
super convenient.
hop into that are all over. I've no idea who is throwing this trash into. Yeah, good point. It's fireflies.
So one of the things that we keep on alluding to, a large amount of the events of the story are basically because the twins wanted to be the heroes of a story. So they don't realize, but like a lot of the enemies are kind of like play acting at this point. It's beautiful, like meta commentary and all this sort of stuff. Like, I do highly recommend playing through it, and actually, not doing the speedrunner thing and skipping all the cutscenes, because the game plot is actually just like really fantastic.
Yeah, it'll show up later on with spoilers. Leviathan. When you defeat Leviathan, Leviathan has this very melodramatic death where it sits around and goes, I've been slain, such unmatched power, and it's like, hang on, I feel like you're taking the mickey right now. Hang on.
Yeah, it's really great, honestly.
And as you see on Hob's screen, actually we met Shelk from Dirge and Cerberus. And she used her counterattack ability on us to break us free from the curse or the issue where we couldn't use our Mirage Keeper powers. So now we are going to get our Mirages back and do a menu in order to pretty much have our final setup or stack up.
Yeah, this is pretty much World of Final Fantasy's big menu. Final Fantasy VIII has S-Star menu, Final Fantasy IX has Pandemonium menu. We have Mako Reactor menu. It is, it's not as impressive as either one of those, unfortunately. You don't have to, like, sell a billion things, buy a billion things, grid a billion things, but it is ultimately our biggest menu, as Steth says. All of our Mirages have just come back into the party, so we grid a whole bunch of things. Resist Confusion. The Cockatrice turns into a Veil Form. Probably canon in some Final Fantasy, I'm sure of it.
Well, yeah, sure about that?
Probably at some point.
Do you think Yuna, like, when was praying to the Aeons of the Faith, like, got the Choco, got the little cockatrice, and over the course of the praying, it turned into the Veil Form? Is that really what you think happened?
Yes. That's why it took so long. It took several days. You got to turn a cockatrice into a Veil Form. It's a nightmare.
By thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
Now, one really cool thing with this menu is getting the abilities, and on Black Choco Chick, we filled it up with more agility and learned the ability Haste, which when stacked up will allow Rain to cast Haste. And with the Searcher, we learned the ability Faith, which increases pretty much your magic. I believe it's based off magic, but it pretty much enhances our item amount as well. So pretty much if an item did 1500, it'll make it go to, I believe, like 1750, 2250 with it being weak a bit. So just doing more damage and being faster is the name of the game, and so that's why we got Haste and Faith.
Yep. We also got a few mirror jewels, which are basically like transferable skills.
Yeah, so either Rain or Lan can equip them at any given time.
Yeah, and that way we don't need to necessarily have the character in our party, like the Mirage in our party. We still get access to the ability. If we look at the other runners for a bit, so Crimson's managed to pull a bit ahead of Brain, but they're both in the same area. Other than that, it's been pretty smooth sailing, I think, for both of them. No real big issues. Both of them avoided the Flare Star. And Crimson's just like, about half an area ahead.
Yep, he's also coming up to the King Bomb fight.
Oh, and also here's the flutter that we need.
Yeah,
so that we can fly across. I really think that the floating eye, the giant only eyeball is the entire body can really support all of our weights, right? That seems realistic.
Especially as Lilican, apparently. One cool thing about the volcano area is that we meet Rydia in Nibelheim, of all places, in this world, with her Miss Dragon, and she's still afraid of fire, but overall, she gets us over to a certain place in this maze, gets through that fire volcano, gets so tired that she has to rest and leaves us, and that's why she's not there to help us for that bomb fight. But it's a nice callback for Final Fantasy IV and Rydia being scared of fire for obvious reasons.
So let's change about all the mirages.
Yeah. We can see Hub now here in Team Tonberry top right. There was one time where I was short of gil because I'd accidentally bought one too many of something. And in this area, I knew that there were a bunch of chests, so I was like, it's fine. I can just grab whatever's here. No, don't grab what's here. Almost everything is either really good, which we're already getting, or a mimic. The mimics really hurt in this game. They're very, very high physical defense. They have counter. Absolutely wouldn't recommend. You're going to get flattened.
Straight up, not a good
Yeah.
Let's press on, Lon.
There are a couple of actually. I was just thinking of if possible, if in order to make up some gil, there's a chest with 2 Phoenix Pinions in it, which is very optional and it is straight up time loss, but does help you.
It's time loss, but for like the sake of 3 seconds. When I can, I pick it up just because it's right there. It's handy to have just in case.
I think that's one of like the top things I like about speedrunning is just optional things that people just like to do in order to have more comfortability with speedrunning.
Oh no, a timer! Do you think that he'll be able to escape in time?
Well, 15
it's 15 minutes. It might be cutting it a bit close.
I think there is an outside chance he does this faster than 15 minutes. Yes.
Are you sure?
He's skipping over the pinions, so he's gonna save some time there. That helps to cut it a little bit. I mean, you have to do the whole menu or the whole maze again. Oh man.
Tama agrees with you about doing it again.
I'm stressed out. I have no idea.
Only 14 minutes, 30 seconds left.
I mean, if he goes the right way, I mean that's the whole thing. Because this area can get really confusing. You can go right, left. Oh my gosh.
He did actually pick up a chest that I don't get. The height is there to the left, and okay,
we
did it just in time. 42 seconds.
That was I was getting really worried there. The
timer is longer for a reason. You can go and do 2 optional large mirages. However, first we have Vivi. That's Vivi. You can capture him and everything. We throw 2 lightning spell. You can't capture him. I lied. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't ruin too many of your dreams. That fight, you can use 2 lightning spellstones. What lightning spellstones do? They do massive damage, and they're also AoE, so it's like a really, 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 really powerful lightning marble. However, yeah, you can just kind of waste them on that fight because you get all of your items back immediately because you don't get to catch Vivi. The game needs to give you some kind of consolation.
Yep.
So pretty much Vivi and the other black mages use their power to power up the Mako reactor that's underneath Figaro. They actually get to break the chains and continue off and go to Big Bridge, which is the very, very, very exciting part.
I would say that Big Bridge, generally in Final Fantasy, one of the more beloved areas. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't get excited by the Battle of the Bridge music? I know I do. In a world of Final Fantasy, there's no way around it, guys. It's awful. It's a terrible, terrible area.
But like, you mean you don't like going on trampolines?
The trampolines are fine. You can play a pogo stick later on. That's fine. That's not the reason why it's so bad. The reason it's so bad is Big Bridge in FF5 isn't actually that long. It's like a few minutes, right? There's like 2 sections, and then you kill Gilgamesh in the middle in FF5, and you're done. In this game, they really emphasized the big part of Big Bridge.
Yeah. Even in Type 0 HD, like, it wasn't like nearly as big and long as this is.
You're connecting 2 continents. It's got to be some kind of big thing. I mean,
continents can be touching.
How long is the English tunnel?
That's not 2 continents.
Yeah, the channel tunnel.
Brexit made it something like that.
No, okay, we're just not gonna go there.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, like the Big Bridge is very long. Odd story trigger here. You have to go to the left and then all the way to the right. If you go to the right immediately, the story trigger won't show up. And touching again on how long this place is. One of the reasons it's so long is because there is a stealth mirror jewel on the left side of this bridge, so you go all the way up and then all the way down the left side. However, the stealth mirror jewel is basically mandatory for the speedrun because it halves your encounter rate, which is absolutely gigantic for the speedrun. You'll have multiple screens. It might not even halve it. It might be. I think it's
a lot. It saves a lot.
I'm pretty sure it is half, but I mean, regardless, there will then suddenly be screens where you will get an encounter where you just won't at all. Drastically increase the speed. It's just really, 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 really long to get.
Excuse me?
Go on.
The interest. I mean, the reason why it's also big is because it's actually a mirage. It's actually part of the Mirage Alexander.
In other words, this isn't going.
Yes. I understand all of these reasons you're saying for why this bridge is so big, but I still wish it wasn't. I still wish they just made it small, or I don't know, they put a travelator on the side that I can just skip straight up.
Well,
anything.
Actually, Echo was supposed to transport us all the way to the top, so that way it would have been one thing. It stopped halfway, or maybe halfway, maybe a quarter of the way, because of that Plume Knight actually went up and captured her. So that's one thing that we missed out on with that cutscene was that.
Wait, the cutscenes have plot in them?
A little bit of plot.
Oh.
But pretty much, I mean, Aiko was just captured, technically. And we don't know why these summoners are being captured. But there's something going on.
It's weird you say that, because, I mean, as you know, I've speedran FF9, still do, and it's very difficult to envisage a situation where Aiko is useless, because she's normally so useful.
Oh. Yeah.
I was waiting for something like that to be.
Oof. Team Mog almost got captured by that Surger. It was very, very close.
It was tight,
was close,
but
at
I
least, yeah.
think they were fine there for the most part. Right, top right, we can see Hob.
Stealth
There it
mirror jewel!
is! The stealth mirror jewel. Okay, so that's half of it. The latter half of Big Bridge is okay because there are things to fight and things to dodge. It's not just an aimless run-up that takes 100 years. Also, another thing to note on the way back up, I don't think he grabbed it on the way down. He'll be grabbing an elixir.
Yeah, he didn't grab it on the way
Just-
down.
Yeah, elixirs are just good. They sell for a lot. They sell for 12,500 gil. And then later on, we even save a few to use on ourselves.
Yep. Yeah, this would push us a lot. Now imagine if we also didn't have Fenrir to ride on. This would be going even slower.
See, that's when I would say, okay, yeah, this sucks. Fenrir definitely seals the deal for me.
I had a friend who did this without Joyride. They said that Big Bridge took a while, and I was like, yeah, I know, it takes a while, but like eventually we'll get through it. And it's like, oh yeah, but there's also like so many encounters on the way up. I'm like, there aren't that many encounters on the way up. What are you doing? And I'm watching them play, and they're just running up. It's the only thing they're doing, slowly running up.
It's pretty painful
so
to
hold
watch
on.
casually and people not speeding up. And I'm like, oh my god.
I know who you
The
are.
ATP
So-
is
So also,
Was... Oh,
well, okay, so if they're not doing weight, then it kind of makes a bit more sense because they need the time. If they're doing the active mode.
They're doing weight.
Oh, okay, I don't know then. So the other thing, related to what you were saying, is like, Eiko being useless? Perish the thoughts. No way. So here we go. We got some trampling mini games going on here. We don't want to be hit by these things because that would be really annoying. So instead, the way that you resolve any situation is by leaping 20 feet into the air to dodge the giant magic lift that's on your path. Right? That's what you do as well, right?
I mean, that's
Oh, for sure.
pretty much what
Yeah.
it is. Well, walking around, just jumping over cliffs. Don't want to be getting into casual encounters. Nope.
Yeah. Now here's the other question that I have. Why do we not just use the eyeball to fly over them?
Because the eyeball can only go a few feet in the air, but we need to clear the glyph, which is about 10 foot tall.
We have Veil for it.
That's
We do have Belfort.
That's-
We do have Belfort.
yeah, but Velfor can also only do that.
This isn't a
Oh,
Velfor can only
now.
go like a few feet in the air in World of Final Fantasy. You need the airship to fly around.
Wait, so can you remind me of the very first scene that we see Belfort in Final Fantasy X?
Yeah, it walks in from the temple
Walks in!
because it can't fly,
life and death. Sounds
and then
like
Yuna appreciates it a little bit.
said back in Saronia.
Walks in, yeah, sure, definitely walks in.
Yeah, it just waddles in. It's fine.
Right. We were hoping that you.
I will say, jumping over the glyph, it does look scary, but it's like 100% consistent.
Yeah.
Except.
Actually, hold on. Does Belfort
it
even
always
have
does.
legs? Really?
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
it's like feet. Like I don't think it has proper walking legs. I think it's just feet.
Velfor has feet. Well, that's why I said waddle.
Okay, sure.
So does that mean we broke the master plan?
But
So
we're finally done with like all that running of the big bridge. Yay!
But
yeah, finally done with Battle on the Big Bridge. We're going to throw our last lightning spellstone, and then
and we'll just
you've
have
probably seen by the split name at this point. We're going to walk into,
the League of Us has an
let's say, a
agent,
Final Fantasy fan favorite.
I think.
We're on Big Bridge. What do you think's coming? The theme for Gilgamesh in World of Final Fantasy V, in World of Final Fantasy V, in World of Final Fantasy is really cool.
Enough talking.
Unfortunately, because we use items, we blitz through them so fast. You don't
Also,
get to
I'm
go
pretty
along.
sure Hobbs doing the random music like he said he was going to.
Yeah, Harb is using
Yeah.
random music, but the music isn't on him, so you'll be able to hear the music later on. But when Choco gets there, I believe.
A cool tech
Yeah.
is we'll do a menu.
Here's Chibi Gilgamesh.
After that mithril giant last fight, we'll do a menu to increase Fenrir's agility, just so we can outspeed Gilgamesh do 7 lightning marbles on him, I believe, after doing the Earth Spellstone or the Earth Hammer twice.
Yeah.
Yep. So we want to make sure that we do that. Otherwise, he will use pretty much like he'll boost him up with Protect, Shell, Haste, I think something else. I think Berserk.
I just love Gilgamesh's thing there. He loses like flailing around.
Watch your step there. This area.
You throw it because it's half HP. He does that. The same in Final Fantasy V.
Ah.
So.
Oh yeah, and by the way, I lied before when I said we were done climbing up the bridge. We're not.
Yeah, but I'm not as bitter as this bit. If every screen was as long as this one is for half for Team Tonberry right now, I'd be fine with it.
So the place where we're going.
This game is very cute. Yes.
Dark. So that's the big bridge connects 2 continents, and we are now in a land of darkness, pretty much. With going along with the lore and the plot of this game, we're on a quest right now. Based on the Crimson Prophecy, there's an Azure Prophecy and Crimson Prophecy. Based on the Crimson Prophecy, the Giants from the Hills are supposed to collect 4 keys, and pretty much these 4 keys are supposed to open up, a gate to a new world. That's supposed to be at the top of this crystal tower. So that's what's supposed to be prophesized. And the Crimson Prophecy is a newer prophecy that came around 100 years ago or so. The Azure Prophecy was around long before that. So there's kind of seems to be a blue versus red, a good versus evil kind of thing going on.
Charizard versus Blastoise.
Exactly.
So also just real quick, so this for those wondering, this is the world of Final Fantasy. Our 3 runners right now are Hob, Crimson, and Brain Bugged. And here on commentary, we've got myself, MrTyton, and we've got Chris and Steth. So hi, welcome to the Final Fantasy Relay. I hope that you all are enjoying all of this. It's been a blast so far.
Yep, there's definitely been a whole bunch of different swings and lead changes and so on. And it's been exciting to watch so far.
Right.
Yep, and there's like another day plus of more Final Fantasy speedrunning, so tune in as much as you can.
Now in this
also hi Cloud.
we see Cloud while entering this town of the ancients. The characters were talking about, oh hey, see the chain there? And they're like, oh yeah, be on alert. And that's when we meet Cloud and we see that this city's been taken over by vampires and darkness. So
they're definitely not Twilight vampires.
No. Yeah, actually, one thing that's interesting, I don't know if Chris can answer it or anything, or if the runners can hear.
This right here is our time to shine.
If we used an Earth Hammer on Ramuh during the first 20 minutes in the Nether Nebula, it misses. And it misses because Ramuh's flying. I guess he's a bird in this game.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
but when we use Earth Stones, Earth Spell Stones, or Earth Hammers on vampires that seem to be floating, they hit. It is just because even though the Mirage is floating, it's still not a bird, I guess.
I think it was probably they just didn't want you to tease the Ramuh fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the real answer. The lore answer is that Ramuh doesn't have legs, it just floats. So Earth attacks can only hit characters with legs, and the vampires do have legs.
Oh my god. So that means that they would also hit Valefor?
To be fair, though, we do use an Earth attack on Ramuh, so it might just be that you misremember something with the Earth Hammer.
Oh no, you use Channel Earth though. No, I mean, like he's right in the Earth Hammer doesn't hit.
So it's like an Earth-based physical attack is what that Earth Channel.
Yeah. Channel Earth is an Earth-based physical attack. Earth Hammer is something that originates from the ground. It's not like from your like right. you can even see the animation of them like doing it with a sword and yeah, they're doing that like samurai thing where they're almost like unsheathing it and then doing that kind of attack.
Right.
You are already earthed.
Yeah.
So
Also, I'd like to clarify.
Yeah,
I'd like to clarify before we move on too far. That thing I said about legs was complete nonsense. Because
But
you all
logic wasn't flawed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just you all appeared to just believe me, and I don't want that to be the case. That was literal nonsense.
No, it makes sense. It seems pretty convincing. Like, I think that's why.
Based off Final Fantasy logic.
You make a good point. So, in an unrelated thing, we're in the train graveyard now, and this place is like it has a really nice, like, spooky feel to it. But so this whole thing is like a massive OSHA violation.
Yeah.
That like, there's no way this would actually go through.
There's no handrail.
There's no handrail. These things are suspended on the ground, like hundreds of feet above the ground, with these cables that they're just, you can walk through. There's not any order to them. There are all sorts of different angles. Some look like they're gonna drop at any point. It's like there's no way. Like, what are these beams that are like connected with pieces of cardboard? It seems like connected to. What are they anchored on?
No, just
is any of this okay?
Together.
For now.
Look, that has a benefit.
And we're just going up and up and up, and it goes pretty damn high.
It goes very high.
We have a field day with this place.
However, I don't think this place went through any kind of like council planning or anything like that. I don't think there are blueprints for this place. I think it was somewhat hastily put together. Some would say illegally.
I don't know. Seems kind of suspect.
What do those
Brainbug is hopefully going to make it past the timer right now.
I mean, Crimson got past it, no problem. So hopefully we can go 3 for 3. It's a very, very difficult trick. Very difficult trick.
I mean, these are professionals, so we have to trust their aptitude.
I believe. Well, hopefully he doesn't get lost and do all of the things that require you to get the 2 optional patois. Brickbuck doesn't grab the high ethers to the left there. I didn't know that chest to the left was high ethers. I'm on level with you guys. I'm now going to grab that every single time. 2 high ethers that are 2 seconds away. Why would I not?
I'll stick it in the notes.
When we get to another area where we can smash some icebergs or crystal things, I will from now on get the turbo ethers there.
So one minor annoyance that I have with the game is for the Gimme Golems, it always defaults to no, but the only reason you have those items are to give to the Gimme Golems.
Yeah.
So why does it not just default to yes?
In case you don't want to progress the story.
But you don't even have to go past it. You can just give it to it and run back.
My idea is just developers hate speedrunners.
I think the real answer is it's the game developers telling you, by the way, this is a point of no return. Get anything you have to get done now. Could it
also,
still be on yes?
Vampire
Probably.
here.
To the west, right?
Yes, the vampire looks like he's got octopus tentacles, but I swear it's just a vampire.
And despite looking like it's an octopus, it's also weak to water.
Yep. Just needs a good rinsing off. You know, hanging around all this rusty metal, it's not really good for the skin.
That thing over there has got to be it.
And the reason why the reason why we did this whole part is the thought of, oh hey, this vampire took over the city. If we get rid of the first vampire, the one that started it all, the vampire prime, quote unquote, then maybe that will save everything. And turns out, yes it did. So, a little Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
How convenient isn't that?
Oh, and apparently that prime vampire had the key of shadows. So now we have the key of fire, the key of earth, which you got from VV in the Mako reactor.
You okay, Rain?
That was in the desert. Now we got the key of shadows. Now all that's left is the key of tides.
Also, Chris, if you don't do the thing, I'm gonna be very disappointed.
I do not. Oh,
I don't do the thing?
After the train.
Anyway.
Oh, she's so upset.
Oh,
with trivia.
So actually, we technically met Sid, since there's one Sid in every game. When we first entered Town of the Ancients, Celes is here, as well as Sid, and pretty much Sid loves books so much that he put his soul or spirit into a robot so he can live forever, in order to read all those books. And Celes is there to protect the library of the Ancients.
Now your turn.
It would be a Final Fantasy game without a scholar whose only purpose in life seems to be to acquire as much knowledge as humanly possible from tomes.
I just wish that
Okay,
Sid
then why don't
robot
I
had
tag along?
Dr. Tot's nose. It would have just been chef kiss.
I mean, can you really blame them though? Like, I would love to just spend all my time in the library reading as like
Okay, then why don't I
everything.
tag along? The more the
Right.
merrier,
I think-
I say.
After a while, there's only so many classics you can read, and eventually you're going to be on like.
That's why you need more tomes.
I'm pretty sure
They've read
they're
through the whole
really-
library. They're looking for more. I understand that.
So we don't have audio on Team Tonberry right now, and may I say, I'm grateful. But Titus does his patented laugh beforehand, which is what I said, oh god, about once I remembered. When I run this game, I just try and ignore that bit, forget it happens, maybe talk over it.
Right.
I don't.
No, I love you, Ham.
Just a really good friend.
I don't have such luck in the relay, unfortunately.
So yes, we're here at Besaid, asking people around if they know where anything about a water temple.
I will say, there looks like there's a lot more houses of a very different architecture from the Besaid that I remember.
It is definitely post Sin.
Well,
And one thing that you also saw, in addition to the Lilican characters that had exclamation marks that you had to talk to progress the story, there was one with a question mark, and those denote quest items, or pretty much you talk to them, say, hey, here's my story. If you give me A, I'll give you B, and do a couple of quests. There's actually a couple that we may do. One. For that character in Besaid will give you a Dispel Mirror Jewel, and Dispel is really useful for one particular boss that will have towards the end of the game. Another
You could say that they're all saying, listen to my story.
It may be my last. Mrs. Watson, definitely pre-Sin good call.
I did not know it was possible to like walk past those and not pick them up.
Oh gosh. Oh, well, the first one I don't think is worth it. I mean, just one ether. Everything else after that is definitely worth it for these items.
I do end up grabbing the ether. So we've only just incorporated faith into the route, and now you will almost always have surplus ethers at the end of the run. But beforehand, it was very, very tight, and you could unironically just go through all of them.
If faith is something that was incorporated more recently, what was used beforehand?
Well, you used faith, just not like as much as we do now.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe a month or two before the relay submission started. It was like, yeah, we'll just start using faith on a lot more things, and it turns out to save a lot of time.
I see.
Make things easier.
It surprisingly doesn't save as much time as you would believe, because faith. So I guess I'll get into it now because we're not too far off. Later on, we use gravity, which does like percentage health damage. But if you use faith and then gravity, it boosts your damage, so it will do even more. However, you have to grid faith again on something else. I think you need to do it on Searcher.
Well, you first get it from Searcher, but then you get it from I want to say Death Searcher or Death Machine. It's
I think it's Death Searcher, yeah.
Yeah, also, I do want to re-emphasize the fact that Lana and Rain both have acquired the Final Fantasy X ability of, growing gills. So it's not something that we have to like explicitly get on the sphere grid, but we just kind of get it through osmosis.
We get the tightest treatment.
Yeah.
But no, actually, Dr. Shantoto or Shantoto from Final Fantasy 11 is in this VII area, and gives us a curse to allow us to breathe underwater in order to access the temple. Tita begins to explain how he's able to hold his breath, but does not get into it actually.
And a crow.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
And just touching on something that says beforehand, oh boy, you can't accuse World of Final Fantasy of leaving certain games out. They have Dirge of Cerberus representation and Final Fantasy 11 representation. They really do a lot of games.
I don't think it has Type 0 in it.
I would have no idea if it did.
I don't think it does.
The only thing that I read up on it was with Type 0. Type 0 gives Final Fantasy 1's area, that is technically World A, is what that technically is called. But this grimoire is called an A world because it was created by Alexander. That's the only thing that I've read up that how it can be loosely connected, but it has no real connection there.
I'm going to believe you and say that is Type 0 representation, because that fits into what the point I was trying to convey rather nicely, whether it be true or not.
Sure. Oh, Type 0 G is one of my favorite, plot-wise games in the series, so...
I read it into it.
Also, your dogs can run, up walls, right?
Yeah. Only on grass, though.
No, we're underwater. That's seaweed, thank you very much.
True.
I do rather like how all of the coral and plant life just kind of looks like, very carefully thought out and placed fauna that would be typical of a temple. Because an underwater ruin is obviously, you've got to pay good respect to the horticulture.
Right, yes. Now,
Well, no, I mean, that's just the thing, right? That even happens in real life. So, it's the idea that moss only grows and seaweed, all of that grass, only grows in places where it's convenient. Everyone knows that.
Oh, good point.
So we'll see Lon use Faith on Rain, and Rain used the Earth Spellstone to KO all three of those enemies. The Quattro Queen, when cries, produces a Quattro Ruby, and that's how we obtain it right there. And the Quattro Ruby is what Shantoto requires for us, pretty much to uncurse us. So hey, our goal is to go down to the Water Temple to find the Key of Tides. Shantoto says, "Hey, I'll give you the ability to go there, but you also got to give me something in return." So, on the way to the temple, Titus explains that's how they came into the, to be able to breathe underwater. And then pretty much I believe the Key of Tide, the Quattro Ruby was taken by some Tonberries. And now we have to go beat them up in order to get it back.
I will say, Quattro Queen, pretty cute for a boss.
Hey, is that
So, casually, these Tonberries that are coming up for Hard on Team Tonberry, ironically, is casually they're really quite difficult. I think they're a lot of people's first, not necessarily war, but oh god, this suddenly got really hard.
Hey, hold up.
I know. An anchor.
Just throw a spellstone in it. It's been a lot of this run so far. Eventually we'll start using abilities, I promise, but just... There you are.
I don't know, abilities seem against the rules. Also, yeah, here's a Tonberry fight. Tonberries can be pretty scary, but we just kind of throw a bunch of items and he dies.
You can
So, does this count as like patricide or something?
Is it,
Or no, sorry, it would be regicide, right? Regicide. Tonberry is killing their king.
right. Okay, I see.
It's definitely a mutiny. Right there.
Just say the word.
Why is Hob running backwards? You can just use a teleport stone. Oh, but pretty much, after that Tonberry fight, we'll actually go to the far left and get a chest that has, holy torches, which is a physical item that casts a spell. So that's one way we'll use to spell. Then if the runners decide to use to do the side quest to get the spell Mirage Roll, then they'll get the spell using that. But hopefully the hope is we'll use one for one fight, and then a second one if needed for a later fight as we get towards the end game.
I think also answering your question about why hard going backwards is not that much slower, if at all.
Okay.
Turn this into a lawn graveyard?
I thought
they're pretty much
regicide joke.
Know what they call a locomotive
Sorry,
with
finish.
vampire fangs?
Oh no! I was saying that. No, your regicide joke was a good one. It's just at least in England, we don't really use patricide, regicide, all of these different terms. I think it's more of an American thing. It might be just be me being ignorant. So it took me a solid 5 or 10 seconds to realize what it was you were saying. Just full stop.
Apparently, it's just you, Chris.
It's just me. All right, disaster. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean,
as Lon was running up those invisible stairs, it took us into this area that looked very similar to Ninewood Hills. And so pretty much Hob is now doing a large buy to prepare us for this next dungeon, as well as series of 6, I think, bosses.
Yeah, so this is one thing that's like honestly really nice about the buy menus and stuff. Things aren't really split up, but you also don't have to confirm for every single item. You can just, select I want X amount of this and Y amount of this, and it buys it all at once. And it makes it so much easier to actually do the menu for it.
Yes, the ma'am.
yeah, the shop menus in this one are pretty nice.
I just learned the other day you can use the bumpers to go up by increments of 10.
Oh god,
You can?
there must have been.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh, your menus must be painful. That's fine.
Really
a lot of new things are.
You guys
I
when
haven't
I'm
actually said
sleeping.
this yet. I realize I have not actually said this yet. I have yet to complete a run of this game. I know about the entire run. I have a separate set of notes for it. I've yet to actually complete a run.
Oh, man.
So yes, there are going to be tiny things like that I do not know.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell
It's
them
crazy
because
how
when they do runs,
so
it's
tiny.
like 1 a.m. my time, so I'm asleep by then.
I mean, you're a speedrunner. You should have a worse sleeping schedule.
I used to, but then I got old, and now I can't. Now I need to sleep at
Oh,
normal hours. It's a disaster. Right, I will bring us back onto the game real quick. Hub, this is Terran Maduin. This is the first point of the game where suddenly it's unscripted and you have to think a little bit for yourself. There is nothing too crazy about this fight. Make absolutely no mistake. You're just throwing dragon scales, and then after a while you're rezzing everyone. They don't have any AoE attacks, so it's very, very safe. But from this point onwards, you basically a lot of the fights will come down to feel. You put protect and shell on yourself, and those last for 6 turns, you kind of also have to keep that in the back of your mind along with other buffs such as faith. But this is where it starts to get a little real now.
Who? Me?
Hub also did a shop menu beforehand where he just bought a variety of different things, including Phoenix Downs, I think 40 lightning marbles, just over 20 dragon scales. Dragon scales are the things that water elemental, dragon wings, so we can finish off Asterius later on because they're wind element, and then spider silks, which are used to slow a very specific boss later on.
Yes.
2, in fact.
Spider silk's really important.
Yeah, spider silks are very, very important. In fact, one of the fights is for Brandalis, which is the next split. And without spider silks, I shudder at the thought of doing it without spider silks. Brandalis is very, very fast.
So, side note, Crimson's really starting to catch up.
Yes.
Pulling further ahead of Brainbugged, and like Hob is still in the lead, but not by as much as before.
I think
Surely.
Hob is still comfortably ahead.
Comfortably ahead, yes.
Barring
but,
Bahamut
like,
disasters, I don't think we're gonna see any.
Or even
no. I don't think Crimson's gonna take the lead, but like, this is definitely closer than it was.
For sure. Crimson is making up time. Like, there is a reason why he is the world record holder. He's the only person with a sub 3.
Literally the only person, yeah.
Yeah, meanwhile...
I know how upset they are, and, you know, how mad at themselves they are, and, like, how that, you know, focus or aggression is gonna, you know, come to fruition. So I wouldn't be surprised if Crimson actually does, or can, at least pull ahead of pull ahead of Hob. It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely appreciate what you're trying to say. I do know Crimson decently well. I don't think there's that kind of time to save across the next of the run.
Not unless something goes drastically wrong with Hob's run.
Yeah, and Hob is an experienced World of Final Fantasy runner at this point, so I believe he can take this home. I'm also definitely not saying that because he can hear us right now. I think he's the only runner who isn't deafened. But yeah, no, I definitely trust Hob to take to keep head.
I also do want to emphasize, like, yeah, Crimson is current world record holder and stuff, but all three of the runners that we have here, very good runners, extremely good runners, and they're all doing a fantastic job, with doing all the runs. Like like honestly, aside from the only one that's really made a big mistake has been Crimson.
Next up is
and bringing us back onto the run. It wouldn't be an homage to Final Fantasy without a crystal tower with crystals.
There's so many crystals.
Every time there's an homage to Final Fantasy, you need to fill it with crystals, and hopefully a crystal tower at some point. They do love a cheeky crystal tower.
Yeah, you could even say that this is really a chronicle of the crystals.
Yeah?
Yes.
The gears went briefly a turning, that's for sure.
I like to believe that the teleport crystals are an ode to Final Fantasy 12, because that's the only thing I can think of, you know, when it comes to those crystals.
That was a dry joke, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, phew. Alright, okay, sorry. That was told so... This must be what it's like when people speak to me and they're unsure. That was told so dryly, I genuinely couldn't tell for a second there.
So want to reemphasize, you are the only person out of the 6 people participating in this right now who has had sleep.
Yes, you wouldn't believe it, would you?
There's also a lot of flying in this section. So another example of why we really needed floating eyeball. Because otherwise we would not be able to do any of this.
Right, and then there's some key items. I mean, obviously we need to float in order to progress.
Yeah, it's basically an HM. There are areas where you need to progress it with, otherwise you can't progress at all. That's kind of why you just need to ultimately run around in circles at the beginning of the game, because the things we are catching have HMs that are absolutely mandatory and there's no other way of catching them. I guess the only other place you could get a floating eye would be the Blood Eye in Valley 7, but they're even rarer there, and Nether Nebula.
The game also at the very big, like in the ice location, the ice passageway, makes a reference to this. It's like, what if you don't have a Mirage that can do this? and they say, "Just go back and find one."
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
the
better
game
go
says,
find one.
well, yeah, it's a reference to melting an ice cap, and they're like, well, we're certainly not finding anything that can breathe fire here, that's for sure. Like, go back and get one, you big silly.
Yep. There's also one thing that I want to sort of make mention with the flutter. I'm really surprised that neither of them fall off, because like it's not a very smooth ride. It goes up and down by a decent amount, and they're just holding on to each other's like hands in order to progress. Like, I feel like at least one of them should have fallen by this point.
You would like to
No,
think
I
that.
believe in I believe in the strong mirages.
I don't. Well, like also, well, no, actually the mirages. It's like they're both in their chibi form when they flutter, right? Like, have you looked at chibi hands? They're not very grip strong.
No, but they have the Mirage Keeper tattoo power thing that's on their hand. So maybe that's just their dominant hand, just being like Iron Man.
Maybe.
So
anyways, we're at the top of the tower now.
And I for some reason I say this is the Kingdom Hearts area, just because to me like those colors remind me of the stained glass area.
Dr. Shantoto gave me the antidote to the curse.
And I mean the art design was done by Kingdom Hearts guy, so. So here we see the 4 elements and the 4 keys. So we go to the left, and pretty much we'll fight 2 sets of 2 elemental guardians, so to say. So there'll be earth, fire, I believe, right? Fire.
So good luck. I'm not.
Yeah, that's Tiamat. That's Tiamat with Jetfire.
Ah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
Asterius is wind, Kraken is water, and Bua is lightning.
Yeah.
You're mad
Okay.
about the name calling?
So yeah, we go to the left first, we charge our real smooth, and we make our way down to Tiamat and Asterius first of all. Here's where you'll start to see the runners saving more often. Tiamat and Asterius deaths are very, very, very rare, but the fight afterwards, Kraken and Bua, can be quite
there we go. Crimson's
scary.
killing the King Tonberry. Trying to say like, no, this is going to be our relay.
Going after Tonberry right now.
Okay. Keep falling down. Tonberry have so far made a somewhat miraculous comeback. They were very far down, and now they're decently far ahead. So, albeit the statement that Crimson is supposedly making, it's also a false one. You can't just skip Tonberry King.
So here's the first elemental boss fight, I guess.
I have to admit, it is.
I'm a ninja.
Pretty straightforward though. I mean, there isn't. I mean, obviously there's ultimate attacks. I think it's bulldozer and jetfire that can definitely do massive amounts of damage.
Yeah, they can be nasty if they get thrown out, but nothing like that here at all. Just a few physical attacks, and then there was one other thing, and that was it.
I know.
Pretty
And
much
we're gonna finish them off with Dragon Wings, Asterius being weak to wind.
You sure it's not a woman's?
Wait,
Yes.
so that makes Bua the wind and Tiamat
Yeah.
lightning?
So
Or
the-
no, right, yeah, okay, yeah, Asterius is earth. Yeah, okay, I thought there was a lightning and a wind. There is not, it's earth.
Right.
Yeah, really going all Avatar on us here.
Where also is fire, not lightning.
Sorry?
That's so weird. Buer.
Where is
Buer-
fire,
Buer
not
is
lightning?
fire.
Dude.
I always thought it was wind.
Tiamat is
because
fire.
it was-
That's why you use water, because it's weak to it.
Nah, Tiamat is wind.
See, that's
Tiamat is wind, but weak to water and uses jet fire?
I mean,
How long has it been
Alright.
holding its breath?
I mean, like, I'll believe it, but alright, then.
You know,
You ever wonder why the ocean
Fair
is
enough.
salty?
That's on me for assuming based on all of the fire attacks and being weak to water. I should have known better.
well,
I mean, it is
it's nice.
jet
How
fire.
about you tell me about it
Jet.
another time?
Fire, so it could very much.
Wait, hold on. Say
Literally
the second
fire.
part of that with more
Yes.
emphasis.
Yes, but
Literally fire.
it's fire that is fueled, enhanced by wind.
yeah, it's fine. We sorted it out now. Hub is now coming up to Kraken and Viewer. This is the scary one. This is where, unless you're going for a very, very, very fast time, you'll almost certainly save on. Regardless, and I think it's also the first time that we're going to start using protective spells as well in the form of stones. So we're going to be shell-stoning ourselves.
So the chamber that we went to initially is called the Chamber of Wind and Earth. So Asterius is Earth and Tiamat is Wind. Sorry for backtracking, but
No, all good, all good.
Yeah, there we go.
The most important part about doing any speedrun is making sure that we name things completely correctly, which is why they were fighting the weird octopus and the giant eyeball with teeth.
Going after those Tonberries you mentioned?
yes.
Okay, there was a brief moment there where they had a turn that could have been really scary. However, they just used Flash, which blinds, and obviously we're not attacking, so the blind is
Hey, what?
almost completely worthless.
I don't think I'm moving
And
forward
Harb gets through
anymore.
just fine. We're coming up to Brandalis now.
You're moving.
Brandalis is scary. Do one of
So-
you want to go through the Brandalis fight?
Less and less like a temple.
Have at ye.
Is it still a man's?
Go for it.
No, that was me saying you
Oh.
do it.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, I was
Yes.
saying,
Yes,
well, I just want to say that this area, so we pretty much unlock the gate. We go to this peaceful area with this pretty much this holier than thou engineering thing behind, as well as a person. What it seems like it'd be a person trapped in a cube. Now Brandalis is extremely fast and extremely strong, and will do some AOE attacks. But what we will try to do is enhance our team, unstack them, put reflect via the star curtain on Black Chocobo because it's the fastest, and hope at 833. I don't know if Black Chocobo can withstand a physical attack from
It can't.
Brandalis, but yep. So
A lot of the time it can't
attack.
anyway.
Right.
We need to get a hold of that
But pretty much
antidote.
the whole spiel is to slow Brandalis, and get as many attacks in. 24 lightning marbles will do it. So pretty much it's keep your team alive as much as possible, do as much damage, slow Brandalis, so that way you can get your attacks in before they do.
Yeah,
With
so
the
something
Spider-
I will
one of the
touch
reasons
upon.
Spider Six is so important.
Yeah, and you can see when it runs out, but something I will touch on real quick. Seeing Dispelga is quite nice because you can just immediately throw a Star Curtain. Seeing 3 or 4 immediate Dispelgas is fast, but bad. It's another one. He doesn't have any Star Curtains, so now what he has to do is start throwing Shell on Black Choco Chick once
The stairs here aren't going to
once it runs out.
Collapse, right?
Which I believe it probably will have.
And so he's stacked
Stacking is something else that can
to
work.
heal himself.
Yeah, that's fine. You just get less turns and you probably
Almost
have to end
harder
up
to
using
live,
more.
correct?
Yeah. You can do this. My backup strat is slightly different. This gives you less turns. You probably end up using more Spider Silt, but it's also fine. It will work.
Hooray for improv!
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
hardcore RNG though.
Yeah.
It's another A. And another one.
Almost there though.
Yeah, but it's nearly dying. You will generally need about
I'd use those.
20, like just over 20 lightning marbles. This is okay. I think the next one kills. Oh, it
Next one
doesn't.
should
This
kill.
one will
Oh,
kill then.
Mr. Church.
Oh,
There
okay,
we
there we
go.
go. Okay, that was very dicey, and I
Wow.
will go out of my way to emphasize, through no fault of Hub's at all, he reacted very well to the nonsense he got faced with. But
Gosh.
generally, you want to see Dispelga, but there were so many in a row that you just run out of Star Curtains. You only have a limited amount of them because you don't buy them. You get them as a reward. Star Curtain is what bestows Reflect. Generally, Black Choco Chick
Reward
is
for
the
missing
MVP
the ha
of
ha
that
ha
play.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really scary, but Hob managed it really well.
Yeah, half thought through very well there.
So there's a
Also,
series
it wouldn't be
of
Final Fantasy without an airship.
Oh, yep. Through all the cutscenes that we're skipping, pretty much, Lon and Rain fulfilled the Crimson Prophecy, which is the false prophecy that was set in stone 100 years ago by Brandilus's one of his, I guess, right-hand man to the left-hand woman. Sigwardres put this Crimson Prophecy out on the Grimoire, and people started, being influenced by this disinformation and believing it. So that's why everyone was, supporting Lauren and Lane as Giants from the Hill, saying, "Hey, you got to fulfill this prophecy." Well, what it ended up doing was that nice, beautiful engineering thing behind it actually is a portal to a different dimension and different universe. And pretty much this whole story and lore gets into a multiverse and extraverse. But the long story short is that device brings in a whole bunch of evil called the Cogna that come in to start to destroy the world, and that's where we're at right now.
Well, thank you for all of your lore explanations so far. It's probably been the best part of 3 or 4 years since I platted this game, so obviously that means I don't remember almost anything about the plot other than the broad general plot and almost none of the specifics.
Yeah, I was surprised how deep it goes, but it actually is it's very enjoyable. Casually, I mean, you get the dad jokes and then you get the science fiction, so definitely up my alley.
And you get all the meta stuff as well with story within a story things. That's my favorite part about it.
So pretty much what we're talking to. Wow, did we even mention that character, Seraphy?
No, but we can skip it for now. I think it's
yeah.
We're gonna go and do a bit of a shop. Do you want to maybe explain the interventions and how they fit into the story? Because that's what we're about to do.
Right. Pretty much, we talked to this character called the girl who forgot her name. In the multiverse concept, she's actually from a different game, but she has the power to control time. And pretty much, we intervene with the champions of Grimoire. Inacro, who's the god of Grimoire in this A world, pretty much incorporated Grimoire with these champions in order to save Grimoire and have it as its self-defense system, kind of, I guess you can say, like the Guardians in Final Fantasy VII. So pretty much, Lon and Rain as Mirage Keepers have the ability to intervene with our champions' fights. So we'll see, as we go on, as we progress on the story, we will fight some super bosses. And then we'll cut to a cutscene where the champion is like, "Wow, I actually defeated that," and pretty much they believe in their timeline. Hey, they defeated themselves, but may feel like there was an influence of help, metaphysically, and so. As we see right now with Hop Screen, there's mini games that will go on, and we can just skip right through them. It's all just for fun, fun and games. People we meet along the way. We'll just skip right through them and get to the story bits and get to the bosses that we had to defeat and help the champions of Grimoire.
Yeah, mercifully, the developers just let you skip past the minigame at the very, very start. You only have to say that you're gonna do it, and then they give you an option to skip. But mercifully, because some of these minigames are decently long, I really wouldn't want to do them. I'm sure they're fine your first time going through. I've done them all for plat %, but oh boy, it's throwing them to any % wouldn't be as fun.
Yeah, we're basically acting like timeline fixers, more or less. Make sure that the timeline's gonna remain how it should, and changing the future by changing the past. or other way around.
In the top left, we just saw Crimson did get trolled by Tiamat and Asterius. That's very nice. And now Harp will be facing the first boss in the form of Omega.
There wouldn't be a Final Fantasy game without an Omega.
Exactly. The ones you do later are scarier than the ones we do now. The ones later on have a real, genuine, tangible chance of killing you, especially Bahamut. Which, and a lot of the time, there isn't a whole lot you can do about Bahamut. In Crimson's former world record, I think he beat it the other day by like 30 odd seconds. But in that run, he sets up and then Bahamut touchdowns twice out of the gate, which is an AoE physical attack, and kills him immediately. We're not going to quite see anything that scary yet.
Can I do this one?
Absolutely. I was just going to say, we're about to go into Subaltima, which is very unique. Titan?
Yep. So, the interesting thing, we're actually going to be fighting this one multiple times. Unlike a lot of, other boss, even extra bosses or whatever that you'd see, any damage that we do is going to carry over between all the fights. And the trick is that we can use all the items that we want. As long as we die in the end, we're going to get back all of the items. And so what we basically end up doing is in each fight, we get some damage off, we end up dying, but we get all of our items back. So we just kind of get free damage the entire time. He's got about 75,000 HP, and our items are going to do either 3,000 or 1,500 damage. So we need to do like 50 increments of 3,000 damage. What the runners are going to do is they're going to keep on doing this until they reach like 48 or so. Intentionally suicide so that they get all the items back, and then load into the fight one more time, just to use the minimal amounts of items that we need in order to actually like win. It's like a really unique boss fight. There's not really another one like it in like any other Final Fantasy game that I can think of off the top of my head. And because we know that this is the case, we can cheat because we're speedrunners, and that's what we do. Yeah, so that was the first one, but like this is all planned. Like we don't get any game overs, we don't even like get anywhere cutscenes. We just show up right back at effectively the beginning of the fight again.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
And whilst that was going on, Crimson's Kraken and Buer fight went okay. Lan got flattened, but Rain lived and survived to see the end and finished it off with a lightning spell stone. So only Brain Bug left to go through that troll fight now, and hope it goes well. Now we approach Crimson also doing Brandalis.
We'll see how this goes.
So we're going to immediately
how you adjust to it.
I can feel it.
Okay,
too.
so
Let's be careful.
immediate Dispelga. It's like that first turn never happened. But right now, unstack Spider Silk, and then react based on what ends up happening. If you get Earthquaked, you do have to heal the Black Choco Chick back to full HP, because you really don't want Black Choco Chick dying.
Yep, and there we go. So Hob just did the 2 fights and then intentionally died. So that on the third fight, it was just extremely fast. And with like minimal item usage. So it ends up saving a lot of gil.
Okay, Crimson's fight's going pretty decently for now. Still has 2 Star Curtains, I believe, knocking around half HP.
It's great keeping 1 Star Curtain if you can. For I think it's the Plume Knight fight when you're in your end game when you're just with Rain.
Yeah.
It's I'm like, wait a minute, I can use one of these. This saves a shell spell or anything like that. It's very, very useful.
Crimson is opting not to heal Black Choco Chick, so I hope that
I think he also shelled Veil for.
Yeah. What reflected? Yeah.
Oh yeah, reflected. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, Dispelga. He should just be fine now to end.
Nice.
Okay, very good.
Much smoother fight on Crimson's side.
Nice. Yeah, much smoother fight. I was worried about all 3 Brandlesses trolling. I've never really had that much of a problem with Brandy. I always seem to have gotten lucky, but I know Crimson has historically had some absolutely nightmare Brandy fights, so it's good to see that one go well. Brainbugged fighting Tiamat and Asterius in the bottom left. Looks like this fight's gone well. I was going to say I think a Bull Rush will kill Lan, but that's fine. Deal with it any day of the week. Alright, brilliant.
Nice.
Managing to miss the save crystal to heal up twice.
We've all done it.
Oh,
We've all been there. We've all gone to hit that save sphere, missed, had to go back.
Oh, save sphere.
Save crystal. Save crystal. I've done. I'm a 10 runner, alright? Normally.
I know!
I
so
see
am
a blue thing to save on, it's a save sphere. Okay? I get called out on my own stream for calling it a save sphere there as well. Okay? I can't help it. It just happens.
Now, you can see Titus's blitzball skills here.
Well, of course, you didn't even try doing the Jack Shark Mach. Jack Shark.
Jack Shot Mark
53-4.
Yeah. His blitzball skills have unfortunately waned since his time in Final Fantasy X. And
I mean, being dead will do that to you.
Yeah. That is true. But that is one of the minigames you have to play, but you can just immediately lob all 3 balls at the ground and then not bother trying again.
If you hit the flying jet thing, you actually will have to fight it, and it's not a fun fight. It can one-shot you, but it is weak to electric or lightning.
Hub doing his final. Hub going through his final shop. I hope he realizes he's bought 43 lightning marbles. Is that normal? I guess it must be because he bought 10 earlier on. Yeah. No. He has 10 already. Yeah. It's fine. He bought 10 already. I guess there was probably a little bit of additional thing. We see Braybug on the bottom left, currently fighting Kraken and Buer. This is okay, that was a little bit dicey there for a second, but the reflect meant that there was no AoE that slaughtered him.
Nice.
That could have easily have been a wipe and a minute time loss potentially. None of that to happen. We're safe.
We also see Hob. This is something that they've done a couple times throughout, but the item position in the menus can actually matter a lot because there is a memory cursor that has been been using throughout, and we want to make sure that we can access the things that we need as quickly as we can. It just makes everything so much easier.
It's just much nicer to know where things are.
You think Mom could be here?
Maybe.
I tend not to use the memory cursor, but...
Yes.
That's a game that needs to be in this relay next time, is Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm.
Didn't they discontinue that game?
It's on the DS.
Uh-huh.
There's a standalone game on the DS.
Alright, well, it's something we'll consider. Anyway, bottom left, Brainbugged is fighting Brandalish now. So far a good start, nothing trolling. An attack, I think that was on Veil 4, so that's fine. A physical attack can hit Black Choco Chick and kill it from full health, and when that does happen, it's a pain because you have to res Choco Chick, you have to potion Choco Chick, and then you also have to reapply the star curtain, and it's a whole thing.
Being okay for now.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is the fight of dreams. This is it doesn't get much better than how well it's gone so far.
I feel like I need to re-emphasize.
Attack and a miss!
We were all that this fight was going to troll everybody, and the most that it trolled was Hob, and even so, it wasn't even like a bad troll.
Oh, it was a pretty bad troll on Hob, my lord.
Well, he didn't die, so I consider
disaster.
He didn't die, so I consider it not a bad troll.
Yeah.
But Brains is just like nuts.
About to Kill.
Is he
Straight
gonna?
up.
Yeah.
Oh my!
That was insane.
What a fight!
Wow.
If only they were always that good. That is,
Cool.
that is what you couldn't ask for a better. And it's like there were like 4 physical attacks, 2 hit and 2 missed. That's
Yeah.
incredible. You had to manually reapply Star Curtain because there was just barely any dispel. That's incredible. Seeing the top right, that encounter there is always an ambush. It's not exactly an uncommon mistake for a speedrunner to forget to use a save sphere before they go on there, and suddenly they have like 102,000 HP left, and a character dies. You got a Phoenix down. It can turn a little hairy. Hub didn't forget that. Both characters are at full HP. It wasn't a problem.
Yeah. Crimson's just doing the Nibelheim fight now.
One thing that in the beginning of this run, actually while Final Fantasy VIII was still going on, and no, I've never played Final Fantasy VIII, so this is why it was new to me. But apparently, the characters will run on a chain in Final Fantasy VIII, and we see that going on right now as well.
Yeah, very briefly on the way to Ultimish's castle.
Yep. And so on the way to Branlis's castle, or Castle X9, we're doing the same thing. So a little ode there. One thing that's pretty messed up, the Lon and Rain learned the secret behind the Bahamutian armies, or the X9 area, or Federation. Pretty much, their system of government or system of society pretty much says, hey, if you work hard, you can become an architect, and an architect, you get to live a life of prosperity. When Lon and Rain first came into this cathedral, they saw these souls that were being floated up into the castle. That's actually how you get that prosperity as an architect. So pretty much, the Bahamutian Federation is using people in order to run the show. Be the energy behind the mechanism, to have this castle in the sky, to get enough power along with the summoners that they're stealing or kidnapping, to open up different portals to allow more evil enemies to come in and destroy this world. Pretty much the X9 Knights, which are the enemies, the only reason of survival is to destroy worlds, and they like going after other egg worlds, or worlds created by Alexander, which Grimoire's won. So that's kind of the story up to this point, where Lon and Rain are going to stop that, and will die trying, if anything.
Yep. This is like a sort of maze of sorts. There's a lot of running around the internals of this place and taking all the teleports to all the different spots that we need to go to.
Yeah.
We've also we can see on Brain's screen, but we've used champion medals for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go through what champion medals are?
Yeah, pretty much. With the intervention concept, we also have pretty much we get these Arma Gems, these random items, and they're actually used to purchase champion medals. So the champions we learn, or we meet along the way, we can use to pretty much kind of summon them, like a one-off summon. And so we only get Tidus's summon, quote-unquote, champion medal. You have 3 stars, or 3 tiers, or 3, I guess, energy levels. I don't know how else to say it, but pretty much, Tidus's summon, or champion medal, only costs 1, and you can use him 3 times, max of 3. And that champion gauge, let's say it that way, increases, or pretty much gets more energy as you attack and defeat mirages. We only use this for one fight, so we don't have to worry about trying to, replenish that gauge or anything like that. We'll use it towards the end game. It does a really good amount of damage, physical damage, and it actually increases our evasion for that fight whenever you use it. So that really helps. But overall, they all have really cool design. Sephiroth's is probably my favorite. Just the flames behind it and everything like that. So playing this casually is a lot of fun using the different champions. It's actually,
I don't think I ever used them myself, honestly.
Right. I mean, it's like at least learning the game, within a certain amount of time, to be prepared for the relay is one thing. This is the, starting out that way, and doing my research. I definitely want to play it casually and learn much more. Eventually, possibly also learn the catch 'em all.
Plat, basically.
Route. Yeah, pretty much. It definitely platted.
It's not quite plat. I mean, the plat for this game is pretty fun. It's pretty much the first game I went out of my way to plat that I'm like, I enjoy this so much, I'm just going to do everything. Why not? But catch 'em all is just you have to catch all of the mirages. There's a bunch of different things you have to do the plat that aren't included in that.
Yeah, I never platted the game, but I did a ton in it, and I put it down for a couple years. The next I was like, yeah, I'll reinstall the game, I'll continue my save, and I'll just get all the stuff, and all my save files were gone. Steam didn't record them.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate. But yeah, so Hobbs right now, I don't actually remember the name of this area, but it's a giant maze.
Yeah.
What?
It's the actual Castle X9.
Yes. That. This is really just a giant maze full of walls that our wolf can, just run straight up, no grass or anything this time even. There's a lot of kind of mini detours that we're taking because, we need items and items are really good. Other than that, it's just, making sure that we can navigate through everything to fight the quote unquote final bosses.
I mean, it wouldn't be Final Fantasy if there weren't the best items in one of the final dungeons.
Yeah. The final dungeon.
Yes.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
But yeah, the first time you go through here, be it casually or in the speedrun, you're likely going to get lost. It is very quickly disorientating. Obviously, there's no map, because how on earth would you even begin to make a map for this place? There's so many changes in elevation and all kinds of stuff. However, the more you do the speedrun, the more you learn. This is the first carbuncle, right?
Yeah, and I think this is the first game where carbuncle is evil.
I don't know. Have you seen the carbuncle in, I believe it's Final Fantasy V? It's an abomination. If that thing isn't evil, I don't know what is. It supposedly helped your party, but I'm not sure I trust it.
Yeah. All right, hold on. I'm gonna very quickly look and see.
You will see what I mean.
Carbuncle's been evil in any of yours.
You'll see what I mean immediately. There are 5 carbuncles in this place. However, we can get by one of them and grab a chest. It's optional. You don't have to kill it. You get off your mount, and then whilst you're small, you can just run around to the side.
Yeah, you could do it while mounted, but it's much more risky.
Obviously. All right. So in 5, it's a secret boss filled in a room where the tiles are made of skulls. And the only thing it does is cast reflect on your party.
Have you seen what it looks like?
Even. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I would consider that to be evil. Yeah.
Never judge a book by its cover, but oh boy, that carbuncle from 5? I don't know. I think I'd already made my mind up when seeing that.
What now?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, so carbuncles also doesn't really do anything there. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, I would consider it evil there. Why not?
So the big thing with Carbuncle is it's it, at least in this game, it gives illusions. So when we first fought Brandolis in that peaceful area, that turned out to be an illusion. And that pretty much wasn't a nice, peaceful Garden of Eden type of area. It was actually a very run-down old area that that gate thing behind, started up and brought in the Cogna to Grimoire. So when we defeat each Carbuncle in this map or in this dungeon, a new area will open up that will allow us to progress, towards the end. Now, I personally have not fought the third Carbuncle. Chris, I assume you have. Does that open anything specifically in terms of like a secret dungeon or anything, or just like an area for extra items?
Oh lord, this has been okay. So I will preface it and say yes, I killed it when I played it casually. But again, this was 2018.
It does open up an extra block of platforms that are filled with good items,
right?
that are filled with great items, but it's out of our way, and for the speedrun, we don't really need them.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I was vaguely sure, but I didn't just want to guess, if I'm being honest.
No, hey, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but
oh no, it's absolutely fine. I should probably know it's been 4 years.
But that's also why there's so
This is
much
a speedrun relay commentary. If you're not putting everybody on the spot, what are you even doing?
That's true. No, it emphasizes how much more I want to play this casually and explore more of the areas, and just learn.
Right. So I guess that's something I'll touch upon a little bit then. During the speedrun, obviously we don't go into the secret areas, but almost every single area has a secret area with like a different thing you can catch, potentially some more treasure. Like Saronia docks earlier on, it has 3 bells that we completely ignored, but if you bring them in a certain area, a ghost ship comes up to the right, which is really neat.
There's also
just touching upon the thing we mentioned earlier, how you can skip the Carbuncle. That was the Carbuncle there for Harb and Team Tonberry in the top right. You just get off your Grand Fenrir and walk around it.
Yep. There's one of the really nice things with this game is that, if you like a Mirage, it's really easy to start using it. Like, when you're playing it casually, the amount of different stacks and stuff that you can build and try to position things for different fights is really nice, easy to do, and it's very freeform. There's no quote unquote correct way to do any of it. There's a fast way for speedrunning, but you can do it with just about anything, really.
Yeah, there's a best way to do things fast, but you can just take it. You can take 3 Mirages that you think are cool looking, and just be like, all right, I'm going to take these through and see how they do, and you can almost certainly get through.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I did it casually, one of my stacks was Shiva and another ice thing.
Nice.
And it was just we're freezing everybody, and that's what I did.
I'm starting to get chains.
Yeah.
I learned the other day that in some of the dungeons there's a Mirage called Left Claw, and you actually can joyride on it, onto pretty much a hand, just crab walking pretty much.
Yeah, there's also a Right Claw as well. They're a pair.
Right.
And you can joyride on both.
Wow. At the same
But
time.
can you joyride them both at the same time?
Yeah.
You cannot joyride them both at the same time. I'm sorry.
Well, I want to replace my legs with just giant claws.
Just
that is wise, because if you replace your legs, you won't be able to get hit by earth hammers. You can't see me right now, but I'm finger gunsing. Can't see it, but it is happening.
I imagined that you were doing something like that. So, telepathically, I got your finger guns.
I got it.
There we go.
But it is pretty interesting to see the time right now, because Hobbs is getting close to finishing the dungeon as Crimson is entering.
entering it.
Now
Yeah.
Hob decides to do. He just did a menu with Fenrir to get the haste Mirage. In addition to that, he also picked up the haste stones in this dungeon. So interesting strat. I wonder how it's going to help in the end game.
Yeah, I mean, haste can be useful. It just a lot of the time it's very, very brief. Coming up on hard screen for Team Tonberry right now is the Plume Knight and Gold Knight. We picked up Holy Torches earlier on, and the reason we picked up those Holy Torches is for that very attack there, Might Shield. It casts a Dispel, so Might Shield gives them Protect and Shell, I believe?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Protect and Shell, so you just throw out Holy Torch and then Dispel it immediately, and then we're going to use some items to try and get them through.
You might also be wondering, like, who these people are. They're present in, like, all the cutscenes that we've been seeing. They're more or less serve as our, like, primary consistent antagonists throughout.
Right. Plume Knight is canonically female, and Saguarides is canonically male in terms of this part of the story.
Saying is that they don't play fair.
Yeah.
Well,
it actually turns out that, you know, they're not really antagonists because of what will happen soon, but
yeah,
it's fine.
So this fight went quite well, but unfortunately they killed Rain too quickly. You do want to kill off Rain before the end of the fight, because you want Searcher to hit level 44. But Rain got a little too low HP a little too quickly. So now they're all unstacked, and just before the end, we're going to have to stack them all and then kill them off again. Oh, and the blast wave that hits Lan just stack. That's not the end of the world at all. It's just quite trolly. I see. Hope there isn't another blast wave here. Okay, it's not. It's brilliant. Lightning marble. That's that fight done. This immediately then goes into the King of Bahamut fight.
I don't think that Brandalus
This fight is another one where we'll just be using Spider Silks on to try and slow and then just ultimately lob items at. We do want to keep Lan above 1200 HP with Shell, because that's the maximum a spell can do damage-wise. There we are, so that's Shell, so that's safe for now. If Lan gets too low, we can throw out another X-Potion if necessary. We do have several that we can use for this and the final boss rush. The Dispelga gets thrown out immediately, so Shell has to go back on. Dispelga's like pretty fine here because we have the Shell Mirajul, so it's not like you're gonna run out of Star Curtains like you can on Brandalus. And things are going okay for now. There's a Quake. Basically, what you don't want to happen is Impulse. Because Impulse kills everyone and does like a decent amount of damage to Lan.
I don't know if Hobbs equipped the Haste Mirage yet.
Didn't the champions rise up to stop them?
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
I wasn't too sure if Lan used it or
Oh no, yep, there's haste.
But wait, don't.
They sure do.
So the fight's going all right.
Belga.
Well, don't worry.
Yeah. There's like a general strategy that we want to do, but there is still just like a lot of improv, like when do I do this, when do I do that, etc.
Yeah,
which is rather nice.
Yeah, I touched on it earlier. How?
Yeah.
Oh,
and there we go.
Very nice.
Now you might think that you know, this is the final boss. This is everything that it's been going to. We've beat the game. Not quite.
No.
Not quite.
So that was the end of chapter 21, but however, there is a postscript still left.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the false ending, where pretty much Lan seals himself with Brandalus into a I guess an interdimensional cube, and Rain pretty much the false ending says Lan traps himself into a cage with Brandalus. The Cogna take over Grimoire as Rain is depressed while hugging Tama, and then and it kind of ends like that of like, oh,
Beyond
so the world
description.
just destroyed. That's
It's too
cool.
strange to belong in this
Yeah,
world.
one of the
Then
things
we
that I
just-
love.
Sometimes
Sorry,
I
yeah,
think
No,
it's
go
continue.
ahead,
too.
I was
Okay,
gonna say
I'll-
one of the things that I love is like it actually plays like a full end credits,
Yeah.
and it brings you back there and you're like, oh dang, that's the end of the game, and then Rain's just like, no, like it's just like voice, it's like, no, I'm not, I don't accept this,
One of the herald's thresholds.
And
and
pretty
it's
much
just like it's such a good like twist.
Fresh what?
That I realize it has now been
cool.
spoiled for everybody, but you're watching a speedrun marathon. What were you
Yeah.
expecting?
Exactly. The cool thing is that that
Just the
Tama
Wait, but that
pretty
means
much
we go kaput.
says to Rain, "Do you accept this fate?" And she's like, "No, I don't."
Thresholds are more than just
And
barriers,
Tama
aren't they?
uses she has multiple lives, and pretty much sacrifices herself to recreate this timeline, to where this alternate timeline actually is now active, and instead of Tama being the Mirage that's following everyone around, it actually is Seraphi. So that's, you know, the stuff, the cutscene that we skip over. Rain talks to Seraphi as in like, oh wait, what? You're here? Where's Tama? And Seraphi's like, Tama? I haven't heard that name in like 100 years or something like that. So it's like, oh, Rain remembers all this stuff from the timeline, but no one else does.
Well, whatever form a threshold takes, we know how they work in general.
Yeah,
So
it's honestly like it's a really nice bit of storytelling. The storytelling that the game's been doing throughout like a really long time has been, like we said, you know, kind of fourth wall breaking meta, like a commentary on other stuff, and this just kind of extends past that. It's like really like, yeah, this is, you know, a story, and the characters kind of know that it is a story and can do things sort of based on that.
Right, and so on hop screen, we're going to be doing a menu now where we have the right level needed on a searcher, and enough SP points. Pretty much what we're going to do is max out Death Searcher. After we transfigure a searcher into that, we unlock Death Machine over here in order to get the Faith Mirage rule. So pretty much we'll have Faith to be put on. I believe that Mirage rule goes on to Lon. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong there. But either way, we do it to make sure that our end game, we have the right abilities for each Mirage we have, so our stack is perfect.
Yeah, and other things we missed in the meantime, there was a shop where you just bought like the most amount of marbles we can, like 40 dragon scales, some protected shellstones, because we're going to need those to protect us from bosses, literally just one-shotting us, and then a few extra Phoenix Downs where possible. Hob's about to enter the Colosseum. We need to find Ifrit, Shiva, and then Ramu. However, Ifrit and Shiva are going to immediately proc because we spoke to Seraphi about Colosseum Whispers, which means that they are going to show up first time, and then we just hope that Ramu shows up after an amount of fights we do later. If you don't get it within 3 or 4 fights, you can either just keep grinding and hope that Ramu shows up, or you can go all the way back to Ninewood Hills to select more Colosseum Whisperings, and then force the Ramu to show up on the next fight.
Did we ever really talk about what the Colosseum is?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. It's basically like a challenge arena. There's like a ton of different fights that you're challenged to beat. You can get rewards for completing the fights, both in terms of items and in terms of mirages that you can get. And you know, some of the fights can get really challenging. They were like a large number of them can require a good amount of planning, especially to get to higher levels. And yeah, that's basically what it is. It's kind of like not necessarily a post game, because you can do it at almost any point. It unlocks extremely early, but you do get to like plan out strategies and do all these essentially challenge fights.
Yep, exactly. In the top left, we currently see Crimson. Team Mog is currently on King of Bahamut as well. It has made back a a decent sizable amount of time, honestly. Yeah, just like that, done already. Very good fight. I don't think I saw Impulse used throughout that at all. There was no kind of spamming. The other party members died, but good turn orders happen. We also see Hard now going through. We can do a few extra fights in the Colosseum, mainly for spell stones.
You can't buy spell stones, right?
Sorry?
So you cannot buy spell stones.
You cannot buy spell stones.
Yeah, and they're the most powerful items, and they're great. They're great.
Yeah. So you get a water spellstone from this. Unfortunately, Ramu did not show up. It's just 2 lightning marbles in a trade for a water spellstone.
Very quick fight.
Yeah, I don't know if Hard just grinds out fights or whether he goes back now. I believe I now have my answer. Oh, no, okay, he just hasn't done the resist sleep. The fight for the resist sleep, yeah. Okay, I thought I just missed it. Okay, never mind. So yeah, we throw 2 Dragon Scales out here, and that'll kill each stack. We need the resist sleep, because later on we'll be finding Diablos, who puts us to sleep permanently. Without it, Lan is asleep for a lot of it, but the fight's fairly nice with it. Is there any others he hasn't done that you would otherwise normally do?
There's Ramu.
Oh, Ramu did just show up. Alright, I completely missed the cutscene beforehand. Okay. So some good luck for Harb. This is ultimately completely random as to whether Ramu shows up or not. And captures, and there we go.
Right. So the whole reason why we're doing this is pretty much these mirages that we're used to, Ifrit, Shiva, Ramu, Bahamut, Leviathan, Odin. They're all part of this group in this in Grimoire, or in this universe called the Pleiad VII, named after the Pleiades. But pretty much, as Lan and Rain continue on their journey, I am reading this from Wikipedia. They unknowingly released the other Pleiad members back into Grimoire. In an alternate timeline, which is what this is right now, the twins imprison them, which we will eventually see. Which area have 3 of them, so they can eventually become strong enough to defeat Brandalus. So the way I always explain this part is pretty much saying, hey, we're getting the gang back all together.
Almost caught up.
Oh, wow.
Did Crimson not do the shop yet?
Maybe.
No, Crimson did the shop, right?
Wow. Maybe the shop was that quickly.
He already did the buying. I saw it. He didn't buy as many Protect and Shellstones as I do. I like a few more, but I think he has 6 of each.
Yeah.
Right. Well, anyways, here's a gravity fight.
Yeah. So we're fighting King of Bahamut.
So this fight can be awful, pretty much just because of touchdown that we saw. It killed Rain's entire stack and put Lan quite low. However, Lan now has an ability called Reaper, so every time the other party members die, he gets healed. It's very, very, very useful.
Yeah, and the Searcher has auto high potion.
Yeah. Ultimately, the only thing we're looking to see is just a complete lack of touchdown where possible, and we're just going to gravity down. Eventually, Bahamut will start counting. The counting just goes from down. Once you go to 0, Bahamut will cast Mega Flare. However, Bahamut can also start counting really early, which just leads you to panic, throw lightning marbles, and hope to God that you've done enough damage. So far, this fight has gone
pretty well.
Frankly, incredibly.
Yeah. Decently well.
One touchdown at the start. I
mean, a lot of
the counting's going to start now. Yeah, the counting's going to start. So now, every single character will unstack, and you'll start throwing lightning marbles. And I would be very, very surprised if this wasn't enough. The last gravity did 9,000 damage, which means you're quite close. And yep, this is pretty much it. Just auto battle lightning marbles, and you should be a-okay. Absolutely no marathon Bahamut for half whatsoever. That is that's the fight you get, and then kick the back of your heel that you didn't get it in a PB run. That's how good that was.
There we go.
Oh, kill
Nice
just
fight.
after 2. The absolute dream.
Yeah.
That was a really good fight.
Hobbs fight. He's got to fight Crimson coming back. So after defeating them within this area, you imprison them pretty much. Till you get the gang all back together to defeat Brandalus.
So, additionally, very random side notes. You can choose who you walk with, either Lon or Rain. It does not matter at all. I always go with Rain.
I thought I heard Rain run slightly faster, or is that just
I don't think that there's any difference. I could be wrong.
I do not believe so. Right. Now, top right, we see the Odin fight. Odin, Leviathan, and Bahamut can all be scary if they spam enough scary attacks. However, lightning marbles, as you can see, are doing like 4,500 damage, which is an absolute humongous amount of damage.
Yeah.
Okay. So far, the first attack wasn't great, but the subsequent ones have both been singular physical attacks, which is what you really want to see. And again,
Perfect.
another single physical attack. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, going
These fights have been really good.
These fights have been really, really good for Hard. This is, again, you really want this kind of stuff. We see Brainbug in the bottom left come up to King of Bahamut as well. The
that's what I was about to say.
Puts Lan at 1,300 HP, which is a little dicey.
Just using
He's immediately expotioning. Yeah, just being safe. Take out any kind of chance whatsoever. Crimson in the top left. That was Ifrit and Shiva. Never mind. I thought that was Rami showing up. Harp is now... Oh, never mind. That wasn't Ifrit and Shiva coming up. That was Rami showing up. Okay, so good RNG there as well. Harp is now fighting Leviathan. Leviathan, if they use enough very powerful magic abilities and Reaper over and over again, that will be scary. What you really want to look out for is, as Steth just said, Reaper crit. Reaper crit is terrifying. Bosses can't go... Yeah! Alright, well that was...
really low. I love just the delay that you have, because I see that he goes so low, and then you're like 5 seconds behind. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be such a great reaction here.
Oh my gosh.
That's that is as if to exemplify my point. Showed up immediately, but just about survived. I think Lan at one point there was on 40 HP. That is very, very scary.
Brainbug's fight is going pretty well.
Yeah, we've stabilized there. Yeah, no King of Bahamut seems to have trolled. It's all a huge lack of impulses. We've barely seen the attack. And that is King of Bahamut down for Team Choco. It looks like Leviathan is also going down pretty soon. It's about 10% HP. Tidal Wave is one of those attacks you don't want to see happen too often. We also see Crimson now in the Bahamut fight. The touchdown! Is wobbling, another one of those, and we might be in trouble. Yeah, the defend for stability, but now, I mean, we're in a bit of danger of counting.
So much.
There is, there is a lot of wobbling.
Underrated.
Yeah, now we're seeing a lot of the what the end game of World of Final Fantasy is like. It's very hectic. There's a lot going on. The unstack. I would be very surprised if Crimson can recover this. It would take a gargantuan undergoing at this point. I guess you kind of have to hope that Bahamut isn't going to start counting anytime soon.
If he does, I think the fight's over.
Yeah,
there's a count.
Yeah, there's the count. He's gonna go for it. The last gravity did 15,000 damage, which shows just how much more HP it had than when Hard did it.
So
it's you're missing out on a lot of damage here. Also in the top right, we see Harb on Diablos. I explained earlier, we got a resist leap seed on Lan for this very fight. It's just a lot of gravities. The main problem to overcome with Diablos is the sheer amount of health he has. But he's never going to be a problem. Harb is now over the most dangerous things. He navigated the boss rush very, very well.
But wait, I thought that to kill Diablos, you needed to like do a dolphin kick with a secret fight combo.
Yeah, definitely. I think. Sorry, just touching on Crimson real quick in the top left. I think he may have recovered. I think Bahamut could die here. It is one. The next turn Bahamut will kill. But it's coming right down to the white. Is it enough? It's enough! Yes, let's go! Okay, he just recovered it in time. Oh my lord, that was very, very scary. I'm not gonna lie, if that was me in a marathon, I would have thrown a spellstone over myself and just started again. He managed to recover that gargantuan undertaking fight there.
That was insane. So he hasted, kept on spamming gravities and with the ethers, and it was enough, like just barely.
Definitely need more gravities. That's
Yeah.
Oh, that was a very bonkers fight. Harb now, again, in the Diablos fight, there are two parts to this, but the second part isn't any scarier than part one, so we should be fine.
Spellstone.
Yeah, the Faith Spellstones get rid of the little guys, and now you can just gravity it down. Crimson for Team Mog is on Odin. Again, same thing looking for no crits, just singular physical attacks is the dream. So far, everything is going well.
Yeah, it seems like the first part of the end game is you buff Rain as much as possible and do the most damage there. And now for the second part of the end game, it seems like you just buff Lon, just with Faith, Ethers, and spam Gravity. And then once Gravity's done enough, you just spam Spellstones or Light Marbles, Dragon Scales, and just try to keep everyone alive and do a bunch of damage. I mean,
yeah, pretty much. Alongside with a bunch of gravity and buffing. Crimson just manages to take down Odin. Lon was very shaky there at the end, and Rainstack was entirely dead, but sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, I also, emphasize again, look at how fast the Black Choco Chick's ATB is filling up.
Yeah. So there is an annoying thing that can happen. Sometimes Choco Chick will die, but that's the one you least want to die, and it's kind of a nightmare when you do. Harb now defeats Diablos and is on to the very end game now. There are 6 bosses left. It's QB and then the final boss rush. For the final boss rush, you'll be facing 5 bosses in a row. You cannot save in between them. You get 1 save at the start, and then you are on your own. Crimson is now on Leviathan. It was a good start. Protect, Shellstone, unstacked, and then immediately a Reaper to kill everyone. However, it wasn't a Reaper crit. 2 Reapers in a row. That was a very, very good defend to delay Lon's turn to get more favourable future turns. Very, very good job there.
The spread actually has really come down. There's like a 15-minute spread now between Tonberry and Choco. And Crimson's managed to bring it.
Yeah, no, I was just going to agree with the point. Yeah, we are very close for how far we are in. Crimson now getting
Crimson's actually really managed to bring this back. Really managed to bring this back from the large mistake at the beginning.
Yep. Again, brilliant fight. Everybody so far has navigated the boss rush very, very well.
Yep.
Yeah. Everyone's doing a fantastic job with this, honestly.
Hob went through a cutscene, and pretty much we're on our way to find another Mirage in the same family as Tama, in order to somehow the girl who forgot her name says that she can spin another thread of time to pretty much bring Tama back into this reality. Literally, she says, Rain thinks about it and was like, how's this possible? And the girl who forgot her name pretty much reads Rain's mind and says, don't worry about it, or things that are complicated don't need to be explained. So kind of a cop-out, but also just another mysterious thing with the girl who forgot her name.
Yeah. And this one isn't one that we can blame on a crow.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Somehow, like in the lore of this game, somehow Crow and the girl forgot her name, their timelines mashed up, and they're like, "Yo, we got this power. Are we cool with each other? Yeah, we're cool with each other," and that's why she's in there.
So now for Team Tonberry, you see the QB fight. This fight isn't very difficult because QB really doesn't have a lot of health. So you can just gravity it twice and then you're pretty much done. We also see Crimson for Team Mog on Diablos. I think this is the second part.
I'm not sure.
But as I said, Crimson is already past the hard bit of the boss rush. However, Brainbugged is just coming up to the Colosseum. We get to see another Bahamut fight. It's very exciting watching other people do it. I always get tad nervous beforehand.
Yeah.
And we also see Harb, who is saving now.
Yeah, so for people that are interested, the game does go on sale rather often on Steam.
Yeah.
Highly recommend picking it up. Like, it's a fun speed game. It's really great casually.
Yeah.
Would definitely recommend getting it. And if you want to learn how to do the speed run, if you hop over to the Final Fantasy Discord, we've got a channel right there. Just come in, hang out, ask questions, read the notes, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Harb is now doing the final boss rush for Team Tonberry. This is 5 bosses in a row, absolutely no saving. We touched upon champion medals earlier on. They're barely used throughout the run. They take a very long time to regen. Even casually, I barely use them. However, this is the only fight in the run that we will be using it. We'll be summoning Tidus. He has used to have a big flashy blitzball kill cutscene for the damage, but the developers added a way to skip it, along with a very sassy patch note when they did. Tidus also can crit, which is ideally what we're looking for. No crits on the first hit. Oh, right, yeah, and Brainbugged in the bottom left is also now on Bahamut. No touchdown yet, very safe. I know Brainbugged's set up for Bahamut is much safer. He protects both of them immediately to get around the touchdown turn 1, killing everyone.
No crits for...
Definitely safer. Yeah, no crits, unfortunately, on the top right. So it's going to need a few...
Also no disaster, which
yeah,
is really good.
Us to do...
Yeah. Wow, that's really good.
Well, one other thing that's unique about these fights is that, unlike basically every single other fight in the game, they are split up. Like, Rain and Lon both fight solo for them.
Yeah.
Oh, but then the touchdown goes down. No, but there's an unstack as well. Okay, but they've started counting. That's a good thing. We can Phoenix down immediately. I'm not sure I would have...
should be okay.
Because I don't think this... I think this gravity's... If he does it, it's only going to do about 5,000 or so. Yeah, okay, so he's going to unstack immediately, Lightning Marble, and we hope it's enough. Did I
think it should be. The
and amongst all of that, and whilst everything was going crazy, Team Tonberry dies on Plume Knight. That's not the end of the world. It's only a few minutes. It's not the end of the world, but I didn't see what happened. I presume
I didn't see what happened either because there's so much happening on screen all at the same time.
Basically, Shell and Haste ran out at the same time and just got busted.
Shell and Haste ran out at the same time. Yeah, so we touched upon it earlier. All of the buffs last 6 turns, and you need to keep an eye on it just in case something goes. Brainbug just does enough damage in order to kill Bahamut, so it was indeed enough, even with the stacking and unstacking. Very nice. That's the really dangerous Lord. However, he still has Odin and Leviathan left. Crimson in the top left is now on
and
QB, and I think everything went fine there. Yeah, and Diablos.
Everything seems fine with the
fight. Yeah, but Diablos is barely worth even mentioning. That dude is a pushover. You can just you can just kill him. It's fine.
We spend so much time talking about him, and they're like, whatever.
Yeah. Once you get the resist seed, it very much trivializes what's done. Okay, Crimson is now done with QB and an immediate opening of disaster. So that's doom. So you can
and then Searcher's confused, so you can't use gravity.
Yeah, so you have to use a Remedy Plus in order to cure it.
Oh gosh, it's not good.
Oh boy.
You also, when you have that, I think it's Amnesia, you can't use Tidus either, so you have to get rid of it. There's no way around it. Brainbug in the bottom left now on
crit?
Odin. Odin doesn't look like he's started with anything very bad. Did I just see
Shield.
protect? Yes, I did.
No,
Yeah, there was
no,
a
Magic
holy
Shield.
torch had to use. Odin is getting low in the bottom left. I think it's going down. Yeah, another physical attack. Okay, everybody had a very kind Odin. That's very nice. Odin goes down. There's only Leviathan left. Let's hope for no Reaper crits.
In case nobody could tell, there's a lot going on just because it's, giant boss rushes and everyone's just so close together.
And Crimson's caught up.
Yes.
Crimson's caught up. He's on the first boss of the final boss rush already. They are within maybe a minute of one another at this point. Harb now finishes.
It's just a one fight.
Yeah.
Wow.
Harb now finished this over Readers, and Crimson has just started it. Unfortunately, unfortunately comes out.
Oh, Magic Shield.
Magic Shell. Magic Shield.
He has one holy torch. He has a holy torch.
Oh, but I don't think he noticed me. Oh, 4,890. That still did a lot. I guess it's just shell on this one, and it'll only affect lightning marble damage or something, but it's clearly not affecting Tidus's damage.
Oh, yeah. Now, one thing I don't understand is using auto battle won't proc using the champion.
Yeah, it'll repeat everything other than the champion. If you try and repeat a champion's move, you just attack. I'm guessing that's because of how rare they are. Hard in the top right is getting a little low, but yeah, okay, X Potion takes care of it.
Oh my gosh, it's Magic Shield again.
Removes its Magic Shield again, so the lightning marbles are only doing 750 damage. It's not the end of the world, he'll still be
Done with the Plume Knight.
quite high on there. Brain Bug bottom left.
Also,
Leviathan, no Reaper crits, we're fine there. Crimson is just about to go through the first boss.
Okay,
and it's down. Just as Harb defeats the second one as well. So we're now on to Pelennor for Harb for team
15
Tonberry.
seconds.
Also, brief callback is that Plume Knight used Quake on Veilfor and missed. Quake is an earth thing, therefore Veilfor flies.
It comes from the ground. Yeah, it doesn't come from the blade.
Dust.
Yeah, so what we're going to do on Pelennor now, the second one is we're just going to be faithing and then gravitying and then just throwing items down. This isn't the scary one. The scary one could potentially be the next fight that can kill you. You just got to keep Lan healthy and hope nothing too crazy happens. It looks like Plume Knight is going very well for Crimson. It doesn't look like he's currently in any real trouble. The haste there, the haste only lasts for like 3 turns or something, so you don't see a lot of use of it through the run. It's not as good as it is in other runs, but haste either ends up being busted or not great. Unfortunately, this is one of these games where it's not great. Hard on the top right gets done with Pelennor, and he's through to X9 Bahamut 1. Okay, and Crimson is now also done with the second fight as well.
There's just like one fight separating these two. This is not.
Yeah.
What now?
This is very, very close.
All right. I mean, this the fight hub is yeah.
Amazing animation, by the way.
It is really cool, but I just in speedrunning, it's like, oh my gosh, long animation.
Yeah, it goes on for a while, unfortunately. There is another route where the Arcana attack is much scarier, but in this one it's fine, it's just a bit of damage.
Now you'll see some of the runners choosing to defend rather than spam an item or anything. The reason is, one, to every turn, Lawn or Rain, whatever, will get some AP or MP pretty much back, and we need 10 MP to cast Gravity. So defending can be faster just to, I believe you start with a higher
X9 Bahamut 1 down.
Yep, this is Bahamut. Sorry?
You know what I'm saying? If you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when you defend, you start pretty much like halfway.
Your ATP starts up like 66% of the way there, yeah. Done. Crimson is now on X9 Bahamut 1, and Harb is now on the final boss. This is it. On PC, this can be scary. Yeah, the actual final boss. On PC, this can be scary because it can start counting. However, as long as you pay attention to, there's a coloured streak on him, and that shows what element he's currently in. Throw the spellstone that isn't that element or countering that element that it's weak to, and it will be okay. Hope you don't get AoE too much like Chaotic Impulse, it'll be alright. There's also an attack that can give you Amnesia. You don't want that because you'll still have to remedy plus it. There is still a whole bunch of gravity you need to do. Oh, and just as I say that, they appear to be amnesia and got it. Yeah, the physical attack is what you want to see. There's a lot going on here. Brainbug in the bottom left is still on Diablos. Crimson is getting the big ol' AoE attack down, but Hab is getting very, very close. Team Tonberry, you got to be ready for FF3. Time could be called any second. Gravity goes off. Firaga, that's fine. That's what you want to see.
Now you just do spellstones now.
Yeah, it's about a quarter of the HP bar left. We just throw every single last thing that we have at it. We just don't want to see any AoEs. We don't see anything like that. The fire spellstone goes off. Very, very little health left. It's one off.
Almost
it's one
there.
off. One off.
Just keep going.
Running Marvel.
Time.
Not quite.
Damn.
Time. You can go.
Time.
Team
There we go.
Tonberry. It's all yours. Now, if you look at the top left, Crimson is also on the top. Like, he's made up so much time. It's absolutely insane. There is maybe a minute left in the top left for Crimson. So Team Mog also, you have to be ready because this is coming up momentarily now, barring some kind of disaster. There's still no AoEs going off, so we should be all right for now. Phoenix down to get everyone back up. Oh, he has so many spellstones. Oh, they're just everywhere. Dark Revels goes off. That's amnesia, but it's fine because we no longer need to use any gravities. We're getting very, very close, Team Mog.
The one thing that's
any second now, I think it might just be the next one.
Yeah.
It's done. Team Mog, go. Crimson has pulled back an absolutely monumental amount of time. I cannot believe how much time he's gained back. That is absolutely bonkers. Fantastic job. Everyone has done a really good job, honestly.
I have to say, I said it at the start. I'm saying it again. Crimson in World of Final Fantasy is on a different level between us.
Yes.
Else, I'm gonna say,
insane.
I'm out. I'm not gonna distract you anymore. Just want to say that start was bullcrap. Oh my lord.
Can I just say I've never felt so bad about a silly mistake in my life.
Oh gosh, Crimson.
Yeah, that was tragic. We all missed it initially and had to like go back and see it. I was just like, oh well, it's fine. I woke up not too long ago. I guess I must have just been seeing something.
Yeah.
We all just we kind of all just missed it because we were talking about something else at the time. And it's like, oh hey, you're at the same place as Brainbug. Wait, how?
Yeah.
Other than that, I was really happy with how the rest of the run went, except from getting rotated.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is the term for not finding a black now. But absolutely bonkers ending as well. I mean, Hab as well. You had a frankly nightmare Brandy fight. There were so many Dispelgers back to back, and at like half health, you'd run out of star curtains. You didn't have any. You had to navigate that fight so carefully from that moment onwards, and you really did. Like, really, really good job on that one.
Also, one last thing I want to say. You've said my Bahamut and Odin and Leviathan my Bahamut and Omen went great, my Leviathan bad. Just want to say that over Bahamut and Odin I lost 20 seconds, over Leviathan I saved 10.
Yeah, so Leviathan looked a lot scary. Like it was scary, but it looked a lot worse than it is. But that's only because there was a Reaper crit, and Lan at one point was at like 40 HP or something. Like it was a roll to stay alive. I imagine it was very, very close. But from there,
I have to say, I didn't even see his HP up to the moment when I threw the explosion. I was scared after that.
You were very, very low. I am. Yeah, very, very surprised. I'm even more shocked you managed to lose time on Bahamut, quite frankly, because your Bahamut fight was, the stuff of dreams. That is as well as you'd want it to
was better. So yeah, I'm out. Good luck to the other runners for Final Fantasy III. Go Team Tonberry. We're doing it this year. And I'm out. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
GG.
Have a good one. You did great.
One thing that we didn't get to see from either Crimson's or Hab run was when X-Man Bahamut 2, the final boss, when it gets into a countdown phase, it is severely weak to all elements. So using a spellstone will do 9,000 damage. Now that's to me the best way to end the fight. Starting to count down, spam 1 or 2, boom, done. we weren't able to see that because that never happened, but that is possible.
Yeah, on PC, it's a little bit more likely that they start counting, but it's.
Alright, well, Brain's starting the final boss rush himself.
Yeah, Brainbug is now starting.
That's nice.
Immediate disaster. Oh, I didn't think you could use champions during if you had amnesia. Turns out. Oh no, because it's Doom. Never mind, it's the next one. That's the problem.
I only got a crit.
You did get a crit. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so every crit is like just under 2 lightning marbles you need to use. Haste wears off, so they're a little slower. Yeah, Remedying plus to get rid of the Doom. I have noticed that we do have commentators for the next run in the call, but I'm very sorry. World of Final Fantasy has had a rather insane ending, unfortunately. So we'll get around to that.
What do you mean it's longer enough?
One.
Fine. All right, so 2 crits means that they only need 1 throwable at the end. That was again a very, very nice fight. I mean, amongst all of like Harb navigating some very tricky fights very well in Crimson, being CrimsonInferno 9, the man's an absolute beast. Like, it does also need to be said that Brainbug has also played very, very well. Like, the whole run's been fairly consistent. He's done very well. Yep. He started behind and really hasn't let the time drift that much at all.
Gained some time, in fact.
Yeah, gained some time.
Wow, okay, good.
Yeah.
If that was a freezing dust instead of a quake, that would have been really bad.
Yeah, the 2 quakes, though, really help, obviously. We touched on it before. Quake. And again! Oh my god. Okay, yeah, 3 quakes. Lamau, dangerous fight? I think not. Never even a problem. Okay, so we have Eleanor coming up now.
Don't they know they're type charting? Flying is immune to ground.
Yeah. Exactly. Alright, so the double faith, so all magic thrown out does do more damage.
And
including rain.
Nice
yeah, staying stacked. I mean, this is one way to do it. I think traditionally you one-stack rain. Because if there's an AoE attack and Lan gets low, it will heal Lan, but...
That was
that looked pretty quick, didn't it? That looked pretty quick!
Yeah, that was super smooth, honestly. And, like, the final attack probably would have done a KO if it was, like, multiple KOs if it wasn't stacked, so...
Man, part of me wants to think, like, is it worth doing an extra Colosseum fight to have a spell stone there?
Probably not, unfortunately.
Colosseum fights can be pretty slow.
Yeah, they can be pretty slow. They take a while. Right, now onto X9 Bahama.
There's 47 seconds difference now between Tonberry and Mog.
It's so close. It's so close. Like, Team Choco isn't even that far behind either. It's insane. Flare goes off on Lan. That's not a brilliant attack, but it's okay for now. It's not going to cause a problem yet. You want to Elixir Lan before ending anyway. Another Flare will then end up being a problem, however. He's using Fire Spellstones. I think traditionally I normally keep them for the final boss, but obviously...
I think he has enough, that's why. He feels like he's enough.
Yeah, I mean, like, we saw in the last fight that he did something different, and that definitely worked out. And for those that don't know, Brainbug did a lot of rerouting for 10 too, so I'll trust this man's differences. X9 Bahama 1 goes down, and just like that, we're on the final boss. Let's hope for no amnesia, no nothing like that, just a really quick fight, as little AoE as humanly possible. So, opening up with a faith.
It's really rough with these fights. You don't even get healed between any of them, so it's just like 5 really hard bosses all in a row, no saves, no heals.
Yeah.
But that bus rush, just, to me, it definitely gets your adrenaline going, and your focus is
absolutely.
Out.
During a speedrun, you just like turn off chat and don't look at it at all. 2 down, no AoE so far. We're doing safe.
Defend.
Oh, and there are the Chaos Rebels, so amnesia. That's going to need to be cured because I think Yeah, I think Braybog will probably want more gravity before he starts
Definitely
throwing
more
spell
gravities,
stones.
yeah.
I
Still
think
like half HP.
I still amnesia.
Oh.
Yeah, probably just defend and then remedy plus. Yeah, there he goes. And everybody else just throw lightning marbles, do whatever you can. Yeah, the gravity is now doing 5,000 damage, so just start lobbing as many spellstones as humanly possible.
Right now,
Hope the count doesn't start. Oh, but the on-stack!
Oh, no.
That should be okay, as long as there is another... No! There's a death right at the end! It outsped, and he has to do the entire final boss rush again! That's so unlucky! Oh, that could have happened to anybody! Oh, it could have happened to anybody! It's such a disaster! No!
There's nothing he could have done about that either.
Nobody gets toppled on the final boss. That just doesn't happen. You don't get toppled on the final boss. It's not something you ever have to think about. Oh,
wait.
that's so crushing.
Does it do QB again? No, it just cuts.
No, he doesn't have to do QB again. He's safe before. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that would be pretty
Oh, no. That's so rough.
That is so rough.
Like, I mean, there's nothing that he really could have done about that either. Like, he got toppled, he had one action, and then got AoE'd.
Yeah.
And, like, if either the topple didn't happen, or the AoE didn't happen, that was a one fight.
Yeah. And, like, he was going to stack as soon as he got the chance. It was just ever so slightly outsped. That is a disaster. Alright, well, I mean, we've already been through these bosses beforehand. Do the FF3 commentators want to briefly introduce themselves?
Yeah, why not? So here we are. So I'm Leonis, and my co-commentator is...
Patariku13.
Patariku, the legend. So FF3 really started like right off the bat and with a very, very nifty kind of time difference. Like, both the runners are already done with the dungeon. So the very first dungeon that we were doing with the Jinn fight. I guess poor Steth is going on it at the moment.
Yep,
but Zero is already
into it, and Zero was able to make it through.
Yeah. So from what I'm seeing, so Patariku has the knowledge about this version of the game. I have prior knowledge with the PSP, the DS version, the PC Steam version, and the strat does seem a little different from what I'm used to, but we still retrieve some items that I recognize, so I might as well give Patariku the charge to explain all the route and all the strats.
How many versions are there?
There's
too many to count.
Yeah, probably a lot of versions.
I mean, it started with the original NES version, then I think there's the DS version, PSP, there was a PC version, then the Steam version got updated or something.
Yeah, I'm not really too. Yeah, there was the 3D Steam version that was kind of based off of the DS version, and then they brought back into the Pixel remaster.
Yep.
So what you were saying in the beginning is, they went through the very first dungeon. They fought the land turtle. They get a bunch of crystals. This is a job system game similar to FF5. This is like the first job system game in the Final Fantasy series. They get 5 jobs. One of them's a monk, so we start out with the monk, and we use him and the fists, basically, to get through the first dungeon with the Jinn. We do pick up a couple Antarctic winds to use as items. This game has lots and lots of items kind of scattered around the place that will deal, like, basically the second layer or third layer of spells. So, in other words, like Fyra or Faraga. And Antarctic Wind will do the Blizzard command, that magic. So using that to help take down the Jinn right away. You do notice that both. Let's see. I think Zero only has 2 people alive, which is kind of good. Early on, you're trying to get down to only really 2 people. You run for only 2 characters for, say, like a good first hour of the game, pretty much. And do that so you can get a bunch of extra levels on them. They're going to be mages most of the time, so they get a lot of spell slots. And use all those extra spells to take out the bosses pretty much up until you get the Dragoon suit, and then after that you kind of switch over to jumping all the time.
Yeah, so basically the strategy is not that different from the previous remasters or remakes of that game. So far I'm not quite lost yet. So.
There's plenty of time. I have faith in you.
Okay, so, on
we're,
that
we're
note,
at Exile Bahamut 2 again.
Yeah, we've got to the final of the boss rush. Hopefully this will be the same as last time, but no Chaos Rebel spams into unstacking into death. We're going to do the same things we did beforehand. We're going to be faithing. Unfortunately, Lan outspeeds. That's pretty memey. 1 MP off of being able to use gravity. But yeah, they're going to protect, shell, set up, and then we're going to start gravity.
That death that Brainbug had, that has happened to me before, and it made me think, man, is it really worth it to pick up wobble stones and hold them just in case things like this happen?
Yeah, I mean,
There's a wobble stone
absolutely
chest like really early on that's not out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely worst case scenario. Normally, you can just unstack and stack, and it resets your meter for stacking. But like, this is pretty much the only boss that you can't really
I
do
wish
that.
Lan's speed was much better. Like in theory, if you can get a second black chocobo, if it was worth it, it made the stacks make sense for Lan, given haze or something.
I would start saying, I think he's going to do one more gravity, and then we're going to start spamming spellstones.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
No, this is the time to stack an elixir on Rain if possible. Surely it can't happen again. The Dark Revels. Oh yeah, and this is where we're seeing how.
Oh my
no, but they've started counting.
No,
I think it might
not
be
the
another death.
countdown.
It might be more nonsense.
Unstack. Okay.
No, but 5 spell stones will now do 9,000 damage. It's green. We should get a kill anyway here. We should get a kill. Team Choco. Yes, Team Choco, go. Team Choco, go. Oh my lord. Wow.
We got to see it.
Oh, that was a brief heart attack. That was a brief heart attack.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Brief
god.
heart attack.
I cannot believe that. Yeah, no, you played that fight there very, very, very well. That was so close to being an absolute disaster, and you salvaged it just in time. I saw the counting, I saw the speed,
yes,
and then I saw that the green streak meant that they were weak to fire, and I knew you had to have fire spellstones. Oh my god, my poor heart. I can't even begin.
Twice, it was terrible.
I can't even begin to think about how bad that must have been for Brainbug. Oh my lord.
Oh my gosh.
There were flashbacks back to the first death there, and then count. Oh my god.
Oh,
that was amazing.
I think I might just stop commentating races. I seem to have an adverse effect on the ending.
No, you must continue.
Yeah.
Between this and Cloud of Darkness last year, I'm not sure I can do this. I'm gonna go have grey hair by the time I'm 30 at this rate. Oh my god.
I'm not going back to bed, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. This is World of Final Fantasy. You got to see all the good, all the bad, all the crazy.
Yeah.
Again, highly recommend pick up the game casually, or if you want to learn how to speedrun it, it's a pretty decent, easy one to learn. Hop over on Discord. There's links everywhere. The runners that we had were HabKeineName, Brainbugged, and CrimsonInferno 9. Ivan, MrTyton, and you two.
I'm Steth427.
And I'm Local Man. We're going to leave you in the very, very capable hands of Leonis and Padoriku to take you through FF3. Knock it out the park, boys. I believe in you all.
Have a good one.